What's good? 8 straight. The Toronto Raptors complete the season sweep of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's talk about it. The Raptors were without RJ Barrett. Jacoby Walter does get the start, and it looked good defensively, at least. It looked very good. And the Toronto Raptors get a pretty balanced scoring effort. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. This was not a balanced scoring effort. This was the Brandon Ingram show, and Brandon Ingram took over. You think he knew that he was on national TV today with Peacock? You think he knew that this was an exhibit? You know, Brandon Ingram is a pretty prideful guy. He puts a lot of work and time into his craft, and obviously the league has really, kind of sold on this guy. They've been kind of talking a lot of crap. They've been saying, Brandon Ingram doesn't lead to winning, Brandon Ingram this, Brandon Ingram that. And quite frankly, I think this was a big, middle finger to the league saying, okay, you don't want to respect me. You want to put me as the 77th best player. Here, take this. Here's an attaboy for you. And I think Brandon Ingram is a very mega talented scorer, but I don't think the Raptors played that well tonight. To be honest with you, I don't think they played that well tonight. They played all right. It was okay. It wasn't a bad game by any means, but there's a lot of things to clean up. Silly turnovers, silly fouls, loads and loads of mistakes defensively to clean up. And you're never going to hear me come up here and say, we played great when we win. That's lazy analysis. And you're never going to come up here and hear me say, we played terribly when we lose by 2. I don't care if we lose by 2 or win by 15. I care about what I see and the process of the offense. And there was a lot of good and a lot of bad to take away from today. Let's take a look at a little bit of what happened tonight. The Raptors continue to be second in the East, as it looks like, despite a late surge. It looks like the Indiana Pacers are going to succumb to their talent deficit against the Detroit Pistons. So it looks like the Pistons will pull that game out. They are up right now 120-117. Someone saying we miss RJ. Sure. I mean, there were elements of tonight where you kind of felt his presence missing, cuts that would have been made that weren't made. And it certainly doesn't help that Ochai Agbaji looks so lost, right? If we can get Ochai Agbaji circa last year back, maybe it just would feel a little bit better. But honestly, right now, it just does not look, it doesn't look promising for him. Jacoby Walter does get the start, doesn't score a ton, but I think he provided a ton defensively. Let's take a look at what happened here. First of all, the Raptors did a great job at limiting Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley. They were the 2 stars tonight for Cleveland. And frankly, the Cleveland Cavaliers were without Darius Garland. They were without Jared Allen. They were without Sam Merrill. They were without Dean Wade. They had a lot of guys out tonight. They're obviously without, goodness, I am forgetting his name right now. Max Strus. I was going to call him Sam Strus. Max Strus. So, you get Jalen Tyson to step in. The Raptors lost him all night. Very impressed with Jalen Tyson. I think he played really well. Lonzo Ball did a really good job of just quarterbacking the offense. Did not do a great job of making his threes. And really, that's how they lost this game. They shot 29% from 3. They missed their threes. We made slightly more of our threes, and in large part due to Brandon Ingram, because certainly it wasn't Jacoby Walter going 1 for 5 and Emmanuel Quickley going 1 for 7. And some of those threes that the Raptors took were egregious. You may say, oh, they shot 29% from 3. That's why they lost the game. The Raptors shot 28% from 3. This is a game where a lot of threes were missed. So shout out to you if you attended this game. But I will say that the Raptors came up big down the stretch. Clutch moments where, an 11 it was like an 11-3 or 13-2 run to end the first half, and then to end the game there was like a mega run, and a lot of it was defensively oriented. I think the Raptors played a really complete basketball game on that end, but there were so many mistakes, there were so many turnovers, fast breaks that just didn't end up being so fast, passes that sailed right over, offensive process where open cutters. We're going to take a look at all of it, man. But honestly, you paper through, you play not the greatest game, and you still win, right? You look tired. You look like a team that has won 8 straight and is looking to drop a game. And quite frankly, you did everything to drop this game. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, you left the door wide open. You even started the fourth quarter with a lineup with no Scotty and no BI on the court. In fact, no Emmanuel Quickley on the court either. You tempted fate. You played around a little bit with fate, and you come out of it with a victory. And honestly, there's a lot of times when I've watched really good teams like Denver, OKC play a really bad game and still win. The Toronto Raptors over the last couple of years have not had that luxury. They have not had the luxury of being able to play a not so great game and still win. They've had to execute. They've had to hit their shots. They've had to have 3, 4 things go right. They've had to win the turnover margin, win the assist margin, win the rebound battle, probably hit a few more threes than the other team, and probably win the assist battle. And then we can talk about maybe they'll win by 3. The Raptors here are winning by 11, and I don't even think they played that well. I think it might be time to start having some very uncomfortable conversations about this team's ceiling. But anyways, off the bench, back-to-back games, man. Naquan Tomlin, you have no answer for this guy for one reason or another. He just keeps doing this to the Raptors, and I cannot understand it. But the Raptors just lose him in transition. He hits threes. He's just really good. He beats them up on the glass. He got 4 rebounds tonight. I don't know. He's just one of those guys, right? Thomas Bryant, he hits a 3. The Raptors lose shooters left, right, and center today. Like, they left Evan Mobley back-to-back plays, I think, to start the fourth quarter. They left him, like, coming out of that break midway through the fourth quarter. They lose Evan Mobley wide open on the corner. He misses the shot, right? Evan Mobley just missed that shot, but he was 2 for 3 tonight. I don't know. I don't love them. I don't love them either. I walked into the season cautiously, a little bit bearish on the Cleveland Cavaliers. I thought the Orlando Magic were going to be a better team this year, and I just don't know what to say about this Cleveland team. Like, they leave so much to be desired. They are such a weird basketball team. But in fairness, we really haven't seen them healthy. The Raptors, the first time they faced them, they faced Evan Mobley all 3 times. That is the only constant. The first game, Donovan Mitchell does not play. Okay. Donovan Mitchell doesn't play. Jared Allen doesn't play. A whole bunch of guys don't play. That was the game in the NBA Cup where where Jameson Battle comes in and saves your butt. The next game, okay, they're a little bit healthier. Jared Allen does play. Donovan Mitchell does play. Evan Mobley does play. But Darius Garland, Lonzo Ball don't. So it's every single time you face this team, there's something wrong with them. And at some point, maybe we have to ask ourselves, is there just a lot of really injury-prone players on this team? When you have Lonzo Ball, Darius Garland, you have a lot of really injury-prone players. So maybe I don't have to hold it against the Raptors that they keep facing a hospice, Cleveland Cavaliers team. This is a team that is just rarely ever healthy. So, maybe this is a problem they'll correct. The Raptors missed a ton of free throws tonight. It got better late, but at one point I felt like they missed 5 straight, and it was some of your better free throw shooters who were missing shots. Was, I think, what was it? It was Brandon Ingram who missed 3 straight. Colin Murray-Boyle split a pair. So yeah, it was just it was a really crazy game from that perspective. Just a lot of tired mistakes, a lot of turnovers. Ingram had 4 turnovers, Barnes had 4 turnovers, Jakob Poeltl and Emmanuel quickly had 2 turnovers apiece. Team that's typically really good at taking care of the basketball. And again, Jamal Shead limits his turnovers to 1, but the 1 turnover he had was so uncharacteristic of him. That transition turnover where he throws it right over the head of the offensive player. And that happened 3 times tonight for the Raptors, where you just you get an early steal, you try to throw that full court pass, and once, twice, 3 times, they just couldn't get it. They could not get that pass to go down tonight. So it is insane. To take a look at the team stats here. Well, of course, let's talk about Brandon Ingram, 37 points. We will take a look at some of his film. He was very impressive in terms of the shot making stuff. I think he had a lot of really good shots tonight. I think he took a lot of really bad ones too. His 4 turnovers, a lot of forcing and I think if I'm Darko Rajakovic, you have to be really careful at how you approach this. He is definitely very talented. You do not win tonight's game without him. This is not a shot at Brandon Ingram. At the same time, some of the stuff that he was doing tonight was absolutely uncharacteristic of this team. Is not the way you want to be playing basketball. And against better teams, frankly, it sounds crazy to say better teams, but against an Oklahoma City, shit's just not going to work, right? You're able to pick on Thomas Bryant, but in doing so, I don't have a problem with you going 1-on-1 against Thomas Bryant. What I do have a problem with is you going 1-on-3 as 2 teammates are wide open. Now, in his defense, Scotty Barnes had a really shaky start to this game, offensively at least. Didn't really understand what the hell he was doing. Got lost a few times defensively. There was a play where he scored and just got back cut in transition. Something that I complained about with RJ Barrett a few games ago. Same thing happened to Scotty Barnes tonight. Just a lot of leak outs, a lot of poor core processing on the defensive end by Scotty, but he really turned it up in the second half. Man, really turned it up. Jakob Poeltl, 13 rebounds, really big dude, right? Just really boxed out, coming off that rest game last night. Didn't have to play the back-to-back. Emmanuel quickly, tough, man. Just his process, I think, really invited the kind of Helio Ingram ball that just came out. There were like 3 or 4 possessions in a row where Ingram and Quickly basically passed to each other only. It was just back and forth between those two, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They didn't let anybody else touch the basketball. Now, in their defense, Grady Dick sucked tonight. And sometimes the guy who was coming off that curl was Grady Dick. And you gave him the ball and he didn't do anything with it. And sometimes you gave Scotty the ball and he just didn't do anything with it and just threw it back out. So I can understand why they felt a need to just kind of get themselves going. But in the third quarter, when you really, really started to sputter a little bit, it was effectively Scotty Barnes just grabbing the ball off the glass and just changing the complexion of this game. I think he does so much that the box score does not capture. And his box score tonight, 18 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, is not going to wow you, especially when you compound the 6 assists with the 4 turnovers, 1 steal, 0 blocks. But man, like he was everywhere. You know, there were so many moments, I feel, you know, where he just well said, Robert. Ironically, this is one of the only major concerns about Ingram was the Helio Ingram ball, aside from injuries. I mean, I think he means well. I really do. I don't think he's a selfish player. I've never known him to be a selfish player, but sometimes he just gets into his head that tonight's my scoring night. And in those moments, sometimes his playmaking kind of goes out the window. There were open passes that he missed that were wide open, and he just decided, nope, this is my scoring possession. And, you know, when they go in and it's 15 for 30, you'll live with it. 30 points, 37 points on 30 shots. That's not bad. That's certainly not bad. 5 for 11 from 3. Mega scorers like Cade Cunningham and Donovan Mitchell have nights like this every single night. And you don't really have a problem with it. If there's someone on your team that's going to do this, I'd rather it be him than RJ Barrett or, frankly, anybody else on this team. However, it kind of goes outside the context of who you want to be as a team and really disrupts like what you do as a basketball team, right? So if you take a look at the team stats, it's just a very uncharacteristic game for the Raptors. First of all, you have 16 turnovers. You're not a high turnover team. You have 28 assists on 44 made field goals. You're not that type of team. Like you're typically a team that's going to get 34, 33 assists, 32 assists. So again, it's just small things. The Raptors do win the rebound battle, and that's huge, huge credit to Scotty and also Mamu, who just was huge, huge off the bench. Mamu and Shed, I think, really came in, gave a huge facelift to this team. And the Raptors were relatively efficient, especially when it compares to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They got into the paint. Jamal Shed broke the defense down repeatedly over and over, got into the paint. Emmanuel quickly got some early drives, opportunities, but a lot of that opportunity and a lot of that opening comes off of the gravity of Ingram, comes off of the gravity of Mamu, comes off of the gravity of, comes off the screen setting of Scotty and CMB. Speaking of CMB, I don't think CMB played all that well. Just kind of doesn't look very comfortable right now. Gets pulled down by Thomas Bryant on that dirty play. Thankfully, Scotty Barnes asks for a review. CMB gets a free throw out of it, a couple free throws out of it, hits both those free throws. So that was good. But yeah, like overall, I mean, what do you say? I really loved Jamal Shed's game tonight. I really loved Scotty Barnes' game tonight. I think they both did the right things for the team. And I think the things that they did drove winning for this basketball team. I think Jacoby was extremely instrumental defensively. I think he was a huge part of why Donovan Mitchell, I think, had 7 attempts at the half. Like he really took over in the fourth quarter. He had a lot of threes go down in the fourth quarter, but man, he didn't have anything going for most of this game. And I think a lot of that does come down to the team scheme. I do think a lot of that comes down to Jamal Shed kind of getting into his handle a little bit, but I think a lot of that just comes down to Jacoby Walter being very physical. And yeah, overall, Grady Dick, just the worst game I've seen from him in weeks. It wasn't just the offense, it was the defense too. That reach in on Luke Travers it's a benchable offense. Okay, so if I'm the coach of this team, you're not playing the next game. Straight up, not even lying, you're not playing the next game if you play like that. So let's get to the film breakdown here real quick. And then we have some callers already in line. We have Marwin and we have Ben F. So give me 1 second, guys, as I go through the film breakdown. How are you guys doing? How does it feel to be a fan of a team that has won 8 straight basketball games? Feels pretty good, man. Feels pretty good. That we are sitting here nitpicking process here is actually a blessing completely. Okay. What are we doing here? Hang on 1 second. Pull this up again. Reload. Why has X been doing this a little bit more? And try to load up a whole bunch of clips all at once. Start to get a little bit buggy. Okay, I said Jacoby's a dog. This is like the first play, man. This is like one of the first plays of the game where he just rips it clean. Take a look at that again here on Evan Mobley's drive here, and he just takes it. Mobley gets away. Scotty ties him up. Ends up being a jump ball for Scotty Barnes, but really that entire play is created by Jakob Pertl walling up and Jacoby Walter just doing his thing. I said Scotty caught the Cavs sleeping here. Nice shot, BI. This something really wonderful happens when Scotty Barnes gets the ball on one side of the court. Is very often his first option is always to the opposite side. He likes to shift the defense. And here, this little skip pass over Donovan Mitchell is going to shift the defense. The Cavaliers fall completely asleep. No idea what they're doing. What is Larry Nance doing right here? You cannot back off of Brandon Ingram like this. And this is when you knew Brandon Ingram was going to have a good night because he has not been hitting his three so far this year, shooting 29%. And yeah, that's a good one, man. Now, I said Scotty clears Mobley, just in case you need to know. And it's not just on one side, it's on both sides. So here, Scotty Barnes takes Evan Mobley. Scotty had a very different offensive process tonight, a lot more one-on-one stuff for him tonight, a lot more pull-up jump shots and stuff like this. Here, this is as difficult a shot as anyone hit all night, right in Evan Mobley's face. I have no idea how he took that shot or why he took that shot, but it's pretty crazy to think what would happen if one day he could actually hit that shot consistently. Here, Scotty getting into Evan Mobley's handle a little bit, and Jacoby Walter, that wonderful thing that Jacoby is so uniquely gifted at is he is just really good at digging into your dribble when you turn your head. Like this is something that Jacoby, I would say, is like one of the best in the league at doing this. Like he's so gifted at this. And I genuinely feel like he might be one of the three best players. Like I think he's like one of the three best players on this team at doing this. He's just so good. So he does this constantly. We've seen him do this when Grady's on the ball, when Jakob is on the ball, and this is just one of the advantages of having him in the starting lineup is you can get a little bit more pressure because he's your best point of attack defender. Once again, I said can't guard him, send some help. The Cavaliers decided to play Scotty Barnes and Brandon Ingram pretty straight up tonight, and I think it was a pretty big mistake. If I'm being honest, it feels like it was a mistake. Like for them to do this, I think it's probably going to cost you, right, severely at some point that you keep doing this. And here, they kind of send that little soft help, but Lonzo doesn't do enough there thinking about Jacoby Walter. And here, this is just a wide open shot for Scotty Barnes. I don't understand this defensive coverage at all. How can you think that a 6 foot tall guard is going to stop Scotty Barnes in the post? Like you must have some irrational confidence. Once again, it is all about reversing rhythm when it comes to Scotty Barnes. And here, Scotty Barnes is like, okay, I'm on the right side. Here comes the pass to the left side. Look at how the entire floor shifts. And this is going to be a perfect opportunity for the ball to go right back to the other side. Teams are just not used to guarding when the ball goes side to side like this. And typically teams don't skip past twice in the same possession. But here, Ingram, so you watch Scotty go from right side to the left side, and now you're going to watch Shed go from the left side to the right side. How many times? Give me a W if you've seen. So how many times Scotty to Shed or Shed to Scotty leads to the reversal? It's such an interesting thing how two really smart basketball players do this so constantly and so consistently. But here you go, man. Beautiful, beautiful basketball. Wonderful. Okay. I said Mamu Mania. Also, Jamal Shed is the best point guard on the Raptors. Is that a slight on Emmanuel Quickley? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. His process sucks. Okay. Here. Good job, Sandro Mamukelishvili. And here, just back to back, man. Here in transition, Mamu running in transition, passes it back to Scotty. Wait, I apologize. We already looked at this clip. My bad, guys. Okay. I did say turnovers, missed free throws. This is a tired team, and they better get over this wall before they get blown out. And I meant it. Like, I thought the Raptors were playing really bad basketball. Let's take a look at what happens here. Brandon Ingram. I have never seen Brandon Ingram miss this shot. He has extension on this that reminds me of George Gervin. Like, he is just so unstoppable. Now, speaking of Ochai getting into the action. Just a little bit. Whoops. Mute that before I destroy your headphones here. Ochai Baji. Oh my God. That's crazy. That is a nasty poster. And he fell over right after. I said Brandon Ingram took over the second quarter, limit turnovers, make free throws, and a 35-point game incoming. I said that at halftime, okay? 35-point game incoming. Ends up with 37. There you go. Let me mute this here. Ingram. Boom. It's just really hard to stop, man. He's a really hard guy to stop. Hard dribble, right, step back, boom. Can't stop this. Now you understand why teams are consistently sending a second defender, because when you guard him with one defender, he goes off for 37. And I mean, shout outs to you guys if you caught my live on the analytics not loving Brandon Ingram. Like, this is what we discussed in that live. This is what that live was all about. It's just like if you get Brandon Ingram's solo coverage against 99% of defenders, I think he is pretty much liable to score or get to the line at will. So you do have to send at least a soft double, right? Okay. Now, frustrating to start the second half. It was Ingram quickly. It was just back and forth between those two. It was really frustrating to watch. So here, Scotty Barnes just decides, you know what? We're not going to mess around here. We're 2.5 minutes in. Nobody else is touching the ball. I think Jakob Poeltl touched the ball once in that entire sequence. He's like, okay, if they're not going to give me the ball, I'm just going to get the ball off the glass and I'm just going to run it myself. And I always say good things happen when Scotty Barnes touches the ball. For real. Here, just beating a bunch of guys on a second night of a back-to-back down the whole. And why is it that Jakob Poeltl is always the recipient of Scotty Barnes fast breaks? Did it so many times against the Cleveland Cavaliers in the last game. And why are you able to beat Evan Mobley down the floor with Jakob Poeltl? How is that even a thing? How is Jakob Poeltl consistently able to beat Evan Mobley down the court? It is really nuts. I said, Jacoby. Yeah, man. Emmanuel Quickley had no idea what he was doing on this entire play. Like, this entire play was Emmanuel Quickley just dribbling up and down with his head cut off. Like a chicken with his head cut off. Just had no ideas. Just like no point guard presence whatsoever. And Quickley, you know what? Respect to Quickley. He makes a lot of shots, right? He makes his shots. He's a good offensive player. Very good offensive player even. But man, oh man, it's like for him, passing is like the last thing on his mind. And he will only pass when he does not have his shot. And right here, his shot has been taken away. Doesn't really see the opportunity here. It's taken away. Boom. Now he's going to pass. And it's off target too. So it's like, do you really blame Jacoby Walter if he misses this? Well, no, but he makes it. Thank God. Nuts. Another kind of cheap shot at Emmanuel Quickley here. I said, when you're an actual point guard, look, what I say, the reversal to the other side, right? Now, what is the loaded side right here is loading towards the ball. And right here, Brandon Ingram has a wonderful little cut here. Look at what Jakob Poeltl does to shield Larry Nance. And this just pushing Larry Nance out of the way to get that dunk. Does Jakob Poeltl get 2 points for that? No. Does Scotty Barnes get more than one assist for that? No. But those two create that basket for Brandon Ingram, and Brandon Ingram gets a nice, easy 2. Probably the easiest 2 points he got all night. Okay. Does Scotty Barnes get 2 assists for this? No, because the end of an assist is a made basket. And unfortunately, Jacoby Walter is not going to convert this basket. But yo, watch this pass. That's so Jokic-esque, isn't it? That is such a Jokic pass. And here it almost catches Jacoby off guard. And here, Jacoby just needs to go up strong, man. You really need to go up strong. Here, you cannot be toying around trying to flick this up at the basket. You need to go up strong with that one. Okay. I said oil and water here, and that's the chemistry that sometimes Emmanuel Quickley and Scotty Barnes have. Now, very many times the Raptors are going to miss Scotty Barnes when he steals early. And this time, you don't miss him. But instead, what you do is you throw the ball right over his head. So I want to show you how off target this pass is, or you can tell me how on target this pass is. Do you see where the ball is? It's at the top of your screen. Who was supposed to catch this, Emmanuel Quickley? Did you play football in your life? If Scotty Barnes can extend up to the rim while being held down, by the way, and can't get his hand. He barely gets his hands on this and tries to save it and ends up being a turnover. And they ended up scoring on this play. So it's just like, my God, man. Now, this is the dirty play by Thomas Bryant, aforementioned dirty play by Thomas Bryant here. Look at this play. Just some wrestling going on under the basket between two very physical guys. CMB not wanting to give up any space here, getting hooked. And here, this is very dangerous. Thomas Bryant needs to know better. He's an NBA veteran. This is an insanely dangerous play here. And he is just going to pull him down. Just ridiculous. Like, he could have separated his shoulder. That's nuts. Absolutely insanity. Okay. I said Grady has earned the bench. And honestly, if I'm his coach right now, he is sitting on the bench for the next game. Like, I understand that Grady Dick has, for the most part, been a positive for the Raptors. I get that. Okay. But these plays right here, which are not loading right now for some reason. Hold on one second. Let me just reload this here. Why does this keep happening, man? Okay. Okay. Hopefully plays here. Okay, here we go. Why? Yo. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. We just getting a scrolling wheel? Is this an internet issue? Like, what are we doing here? Okay. Sorry, guys. Give me one sec here. My apologies. We'll go to the next play if it doesn't load this time, but I feel like it should load. And the fact that it's not loading is really annoying. Okay, I guess I'll have to describe the plays and hopefully it'll play by the end of it. But on one play, Grady is supposed to come off. Here we go. Can you sort of see it? There we go. Got it. Perfect. So Scotty calls this the entire way through. My apologies, guys. Technical difficulties. Hushu saying Elon doesn't like seeing Grady criticism. That is a fact. That might actually be it. Am I getting shadow banned by Elon Musk here? Let me not speak about Elon. So here, Grady is supposed to come up here and Mamu is supposed to cut. So set the screen here. And the miscommunication, Luke Travers does not play this right. Now, in fairness, honestly, I think if Scotty can go back, he throws his pass himself. Because if he waits one beat, this is a wide open pass. But instead, he trusts Grady to make this pass. And he's pointing to Mamu. Mamu has his hands up like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And Grady, for the second time in 3 games, misses the most obvious read. Like, you got to be kidding. I mean, this was communicated. You're being screamed at by a guy who's 5 feet away from you. Make the pass. Grady is on another fucking planet right now. Just cost Mamu 2 points. I agree with you, Scotty. Next time, don't trust your teammates. Just throw the pass yourself. Because right here, if Scotty wants to make this pass, boom, don't make this pass to Grady. Just pass this right over. Thinking maybe Grady has a better angle to make this pass, sure, because Evan Mobley is like very long. But if you just stunt the defense a little bit, fake it a little bit, you could probably manipulate this pass. It's a worthwhile turnover. Sometimes Scotty just does not want to make the risky pass, wants to cut the turnovers down. Now here, this, one thing, it's one thing to misread something offensively. It's another thing entirely to just have this kind of defensive effort. Grady Dick, he's been getting a lot of praise from me for the last few games for his defensive effort. But tonight, oh God, this is just reaching and then fouling and allowing a 3-point play. He promptly went to the bench right after this, and I don't know if he came back, but I would be surprised if he did. Terrible. Just awful. Not making your threes. Lineup synergy has been awesome because teams are guarding you like you're a really great 3-point shooter, but you're not really a great three-point shooter in terms of like making actual shots. I wonder how much of this is just reputation shit right now, but like, man, is bad. Okay. I said, this is Raptors basketball. Good stuff, BI. First, the first successful full court pass here. This transition pass sinks two defenders to Scotty, which immediately triggers the pass to, and once again, Scotty to Jamal Shed to Brandon Ingram. At this point, Jamal Shed is basically a conduit or like a connector passer for Scotty Barnes to make the assist. Like the number of times that Scotty passes to Jamal for the obvious read is just nuts. So I love this. I love this. I'm not necessarily a fan of like what I call selfish passers, like the guys who have to make the pass because they want the assist credit. Scotty makes the right play. He doesn't have to make the assist. Sometimes it's just the right play. Here. Now, this play absolutely fried me. Like this play, I was just like, I was so angry when Brandon Ingram did this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was pissed beyond belief when Brandon Ingram did this. This is an insane play. Here, you wave off Scotty Barnes, who has a clear advantage and is asking for it in transition. You have three defenders who are honing in on you. If nothing else, passing to Scotty gets these guys off of you, and you will get the ball back. Instead, you wave him off, right? And then you're just going to come up and do some absolute bullshit here. Now, I understand that you think this guy, Naquan, whoever, can't guard me. But there's more than one guy on the court, my guy. And here, you allow the help defender to get into you here. You're allowing the defense to load up. Tyrese Proctor is just thinking, pass, pass. You turn your eye for 1 second. Naquan is doing a great job here. And boom, you get Jacoby Waltered. And they go down the other way. That is selfish ass basketball. It is not required. It is not needed. And to the people who just have relegated themselves to the idea that, well, someone's got to play like this. Nobody's got to play like this. Michael Jordan didn't have to play like that. Michael Jordan made his entire living off of efficient offense. Michael Jordan was an insanely efficient basketball player. Okay. Tim Duncan is an insanely efficient basketball player. The only players who play like this that you can think of that are considerably great are like occasionally young Kobe Bryant and maybe Allen Iverson. Okay. And unfortunately, those are guys that Brandon Ingram grew up watching. So he's 28 years old. This is pretty much who he is. This is the good and bad of the Brandon Ingram experience. Sometimes he gets very ball dominant. Sometimes he forgets that he's on a team. Sometimes he thinks he's at the park playing in the Rucker. It happens. It happens. Overall, though, he's an unselfish player. And I know that all it would require is Darko to coach him up and just take that play and just be like, BI, this cannot happen. Here, Scotty Barnes gets the ball. See the difference? Nothing forced. Everything just, when it comes to you, let it happen. And once again, Jakob Poeltl getting 2 points off of that. I'm telling you right now, I don't think it was Ingram's problem tonight that Ingram played the way he did. I think it was Emmanuel Quickley, quite frankly, just not knowing how to run point tonight. Here. Now, this is risky, but you know what? You got it. There's 3 seconds on the clock. This shot is designed for you. You got yourself wide open. And this gave me little shades, not comparing the players, to Kawhi Leonard. It has been a really long time since the Raptors have had a player who can make a shot like that. The last time the Raptors had a player that took a shot like that where I didn't throw it, like, I'll put it this way. If Brandon Ingram does this 15 times a game, I'm going to have a problem with it. But to bail you out at the end of a quarter or at the end of a game to get this shot when defense is really tightening up, this is the first guy in 7 years that has worn a Raptors jersey where I'm not cringing when he takes that shot. Okay. So that is fair. That is the Gary shot, but Gary does not have the physical dimensions that Brandon Ingram does. And the difference between Gary Trent and Brandon Ingram on this shot is mountains. Number one, Gary would be fading into the third row because he doesn't have the athleticism, twitch, or frankly, length and size of Ingram. Look at how open Ingram is on this release. This is a one-on-one play, and he is basically open. That's the Kawhi thing. Everyone can just go out and try to take, like anyone in the world can just go out and just jack up shots like a crazy person. Anyone could do that. That doesn't take skill to just take a bunch of crazy shots. That's not a skillful thing. What takes skill is having everyone in the world know exactly where you're going and to get there anyway. That is skill, right? Uh, RJ Phillips. Rob, coming into the season, did you see the Raptors sweeping the Cavs? No, I did not see this at all. I thought the Raptors would at best take one game from the Cavaliers. I did not see this. I saw this team being 45 to 50 wins. I was very bullish on this team, but no, I did not think that we matched up well against the Cavs. And yes, Miami did win again. They got Tyler Hero back tonight. Very close game that they just won over the over the Dallas Mavericks. I said defense wins championships, and boy, do I mean it. Here, Brandon Ingram playing good defense, first of all, on the perimeter, on this Lonzo Ball pass, which allows Scotty Barnes to play defense and just steal this ball away. Shout outs to Scotty. Shout outs to Jamal Shed. Shout outs to Brandon Ingram for his season high as a Toronto Raptor. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I feel Brandon Ingram senses a certain pressure to perform better at home. And honestly, for a guy making nearly $40 million, he probably feels that pressure to be like, I need to give these fans like that hope. And performances like this do give you hope. They give you hope that, hey, if we get to the playoffs, we got a guy who can go toe to toe with anybody in the league. That gives you that hope, right? So shout outs to BI. Okay, let's get to the callers. We got Marwan. We got Ben F. Marwan, what's up?
Hey Rob, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Happy, honestly.
Happy. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Like I agree with you in that we didn't play a great game. I think we probably could have played a lot better than we did.
Mm-hmm.
In the grand scheme of things, this really could have been a 25 point blowout. Like
Sure.
you make some more free throws, you hit some more shots. I think we shot like what 28, 29% from 3 tonight. So you make some more shots and this could very easily have been a blowout.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, the thing that makes me most happy right now is that this team looks professional. Like the way that they go about things is so professional, and we haven't seen that from this team in years. Like and the moment in particular that stands out to me was late in the second. I think Cleveland got to like an 8 point lead, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking, oh my god, like they're about to break. And we've seen this in previous years, like where the team really just falls off. The other team goes on a massive run, and the game goes out the window. It becomes a blowout. But
Mm-hmm.
for finally, like this team really like locks in, is able to claw back. They don't break, and they somehow go into the quarter. And again, that's the other thing as well about professionalism. They've been closing quarters amazingly, like amazingly. We haven't seen them do that in years. Um, I think that's a sign of a very, very, very professional team, in my opinion. The other thing as well about on the topic of professionalism, this team's been doing great in the third. They didn't start it very well today, but they've been winning their third quarters. I find that typically the team that wins the third is usually the team that wins the game and is usually a more professional team. It's really hard after the break to kind of come out and be all guns blazing. I thought they did amazing today doing that, honestly. And it's really good to see that this team can take care of business even in games where the offense is not flowing. I personally didn't love the offense tonight at all. I get it. Ingram really bailed you out on a lot of his shots today. But I thought in the fourth quarter in particular, the offense really ran dry with the ISOs. I hated it personally. You went up like 4 or 5 possessions with empty possessions because of Ingram ISOs. It really went dry. But in the grand scheme of things, I just love how professional this is. They take care of business even in the games they don't play well. I didn't think they played well at all. They clawed back. They took care of business, and it's so good to see finally.
Do you think the average Raptor fan would say the Raptors played well tonight?
Yes, if you don't have an eye for what the process of this team should be.
Yeah, that's it. And you know what? Here's the thing. Like, I have a perfectionist gene. I don't know what the hell it is, but there's a part of me that's just like, I have to nitpick things to death until they're perfect, right? I have this with my own with my own shit. I'll listen back to a live. I'll catch every single time I stuttered, stammered, and I'm like, that's not good. My girlfriend will be like, your views are up like 400% over last year. I'm like, that's not good enough. I have that mentality of, unless you play a perfect game, there's a lot to talk about, right? And this is not a perfect game. But you come down to it, as I said earlier in this live, how many times last year did you actually win a game where you played poorly? You almost
Mhm.
never won the games you played
You
poorly.
would have gotten blown out.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
get blown out. And I think that comes down to a few things. Number one, it comes down to talent. You are certainly a much more talented team with Brandon Ingram than you were without him. That talent edge is a buffer zone. Because I don't think the Cavs played well either.
Mhm.
That
I
helps.
agree.
The Cavs played like shit. The Raptors played like shit. Both teams missed a ton of shots. Both teams had a ton of turnovers. But ultimately, you were the more talented team tonight. I don't stutter when I say that. I think the Raptors were the more talented team tonight.
Mhm.
I don't think the Cavaliers were as bad as people thought they were coming into this game. Like I looked at their lineup data for the players that they were playing together, and I'm like, I don't think people realize how good Jalen Tyson is.
They're net positive, yeah.
They are granted, this exact starting lineup had played 1 minute total coming into this game. So this is not like, wow, they have a ton of data on this. But 4 of the 5 starters when playing together, a lot of those lineups had a lot of positive synergy across 50, 60 minutes. So I was like, you know what? There's a lot of spacing here. Donovan Mitchell is going to be really hard to corral. What do you think of Jacoby Walter starting, and how do you feel like he did against Donovan Mitchell?
I was literally just gonna mention that I understand that a lot has been made of the fact that Jacoby has looked so timid to start the year.
Hmm.
And I understand that his self creation has looked dog water. Like it's looked very bad. And I agree.
Yes.
But in terms of his point of attack defense, I don't know what he's done in the offseason, but
Hmm.
he wasn't defending like this last year. Like he's easily and far and beyond, in my opinion, the best point of attack defender on this team. You no way could have put him in that conversation last year. So I'm very, very impressed, honestly, like really impressed. And it's so important that like especially now with how Ochai's been doing, like I'm starting to genuinely lose hope in Ochai at this point.
Hmm.
So the fact that you have Jacoby that's able to do that for you, because outside of Shed, you really don't have that, right? So I think I get it. Like a lot of people really would have expected a lot more from Jacoby offensively at this point in his career, but in my opinion, and to sort of bleed off of what you said in your video on Jacoby, like it really all you need Jacoby to do at this point is defend the perimeter and shoot
Hmm.
threes. That you generally don't need him to do anything more. Like I understand it would be nice if he had an offensive package. I know we were saying like Booker Light, whatever our optimism might have been when he was drafted, but at
Right.
the same time, you don't need him to do that at this point. At this point, with what this team as constructed is, we've been talking about a guy like Lou Dort being such a big difference maker, and a guy like Keon Ellis is the guy that's been like mentioned so much times by this community. But I think at this point, if Jacoby just hits his threes and defends the way he's been defending,
Yeah,
like you don't need that. Like he put Donovan Mitchell in hell tonight.
he did. He
Like
really did.
hell, and even Jamal Shed couldn't keep him wraps. Like he Donovan Mitchell really sort of torched Jamal Shed sometimes on some possessions, but he wasn't able to get it off on Jacoby.
Yeah. I think Jacoby is just so tenacious. Like he has a really great nose for the basketball. He moves his hips so well. And he's got just enough length. He's like a little bit of an underrated fact about Jacoby. He's like a 6'10", 6'11" wingspan, and he uses it. He really
Hmm.
uses that wingspan. So he is able to just get his hands on balls that he's not supposed to be able to grab, pause, and he is just a really tenacious, high motor defender. He doesn't take plays off defensively, and I think that that is a huge thing for a young player. I
Hmm.
think the offense will come, man. Like, I mean,
I agree.
I watched so much of him in the G League last year, and I felt like there were so many dribble creation moments. Like
Hmm.
when he's going right, that game against Houston when he came out on fire, he scored like 14 straight points against them in
Yep.
the fourth quarter. I
Hmm.
was like, man, like he is really he has something. Like he
He has
has
an
a little.
offensive. There's an offensive weapon there to be unlocked. I think absolutely.
Sure, exactly, and he just needs to put in the time in the gym. But I feel like there were certain people who were high enough on him last year to think of him as a top 5 pick, and I think it is because they saw that dribble creation stuff. I
Hmm.
feel like the more he veers into the KCP territory, the more late lottery, mid first round outcomes he's going to have. But if he can ever figure it out, like how to put together 2 dribble combos. We're not
Hmm.
talking like Brandon Ingram, hot sauce, cook the entire team, but like
Hmm.
2 dribbles, pull-ups, come off a curl. Just maybe become a little bit better with the decision making. Take
Hmm.
2 dribbles into the paint. He's not like the most explosive leaper, so he's gonna have to figure out some craft. But man,
Hmm.
he's on a team with a bunch of guys who are probably like the best to study at it. I think Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, and Scotty Barnes. Maybe not so much Scotty Barnes.
Hmm.
Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, great players for him to study every single day.
I
Figure out
agree.
the floater range. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is as well with Jacoby is that like I don't think the what we saw last year of him is lost, right? Like
Mhm.
I just think right now he's a bit of a shadow of himself because for some weird reason he started the season with confidence so knocked. Like you could
Right.
tell when he catches the ball that he looks terrified. Like, and I think the last couple of games, the run of form he's gone on, he's hitting his threes now. The confidence is starting to come back. He's playing
Right.
with a lot more poise than what we were seeing at the beginning of the season. So I think that's a really good sign to see. Um, and again, I've been saying this all year, but I think Jamal Shed is like generally probably our third or fourth most important player at this point. Like, I think he's amazing. Like, I don't have enough good things to say about him. Like, genuinely, it's so impressive, so impressive. And I'm so glad that we finally hit on some of these later second round picks.
Yeah.
I find that this team has done terrible with them in the last couple of years, but we finally got some gems here. I'm a bit surprised that Mogba hasn't gone much run, but like again, I know that the rotation is super deep, and that's just the casualty of how many players we have at this point that can make a run. But
Absolutely.
yeah, and honestly, the thing that makes me the most excited is I don't know if you took notice of this, but I particularly did in the fourth. One of the last possessions would have been maybe 2 minutes left in the game, and at this point they're starting to pull away.
Hmm.
I have never seen Scotiabank Arena that loud in years. All the fans are on their feet. There's 2 minutes left in the game. The tide is turning. The team's starting to rile up with the fans. I personally got goosebumps just watching it because I'm like, we haven't seen the arena so amped in
Yeah.
forever. Like it felt so good to see that.
It feels really good, man. It absolutely does. Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for calling in, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Any
of
final
course.
thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, my final thoughts are like I'm so impressed with this run. They went on a back to back. I didn't think they played very well in either game, but they closed it out, and that's what professional teams do. So I think they're telling us a lot so far.
Agreed.
Thanks.
Yeah. Peace, man. Okay, let's get to some super chats here. Get Marwan off here. Okay, we're gonna get to Ben F and then AG, but let's get to some super chats. Pepperjack said, "You mentioned it last year, Rob. I think the Raptors' approach to tanking, which emphasized building winning habits while losing, has contributed to their composure down the stretch. It's quite impressive. I think that the Raptors have tried to gain experience at all levels. Right now, I talked about it in the Harada method video that presumably members saw, but I'll share. Can I share a little bit of it with you guys? Hold on one second. Let me just pull this up here. So this was the Raptors Harada method. I shared this in a members live, but just to anyone who didn't see this. So to win multiple championships in Toronto, you need development, you need to become a destination, you need to manage your assets, you need to build a culture, you need to get get experience, you need to find an identity, you need to find a star, you need to find coaching. Now, one way to look at the Harada method is obviously to build a box of 8 around each one of these things. And so when anything is not going right, i.e., when development goes wrong, which did happen for the Raptors, when culture goes wrong, shout outs to Fred VanVleet, Nick Nurse, you can always go back to the core tenets of how you were supposed to build culture in the first place. It's a great philosophy overall for life. And I hope that the people who watched our members live got something out of this Harada method. But I think last year, the Toronto Raptors, quite frankly, I think they built on a lot of these things. I think they managed their assets by developing them. I think they developed their assets by managing them. I think they became more of a destination by becoming a fun team, right? A team that other teams notice is connected and says, if I'm Brandon Ingram, these guys look like they're having a lot of fun. I want to go there. They develop their coaches. Darko's talked a lot about, giving coaches scouting responsibilities and, having more delegation tasks, handed to his assistants and stuff like that. So they're building up. They're trying to find a star. Of course, you're trying to find a star. Now, you may have found a bit of a pseudo star, offensive star in Brandon Ingram. You're developing a superstar or hopefully a superstar in Scotty Barnes, but you will find one. And if you don't find one, you'll trade for one. You're trying to find an identity. The Raptors scrapped hard. You watch what they did in the summer league last year, right? It was one of the most impressive summer league teams I've seen in Raptors history. And I think that a lot of that comes down to this is our identity. We're a tough team. We don't break. When you start to see yourself as tough, you don't fade down the stretch. This is back-to-back games that the Raptors have blown out another team in the final 2 minutes of a game. Just dominated the last 2 minutes. How many times have we seen this team last year fold? Well, all those folding, is our learning experiences, but you don't learn if you never, ever are in the game. The Raptors lost a lot of games close last year by design. They wanted to get these guys into these moments. And then, of course, 1 minute to go, you pull the plug and you lose those games. But I don't think the Raptors were losing by on purpose. They weren't telling Jamal Shed, go out and blow the game, blow that layup. No, they knew they had a young team. They knew they didn't have enough talent. They knew the lineups they were playing weren't going to work. They deliberately went out and rested Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, etc., Jakob Poeltl. They rested guys. And they rested them precisely because they knew they were good enough to win them. So right now, there's probably some people out there that are saying like, oh my God, Brandon Ingram, he's resulted in, we're on pace to win 25 more games with him than we were without him. I mean, I'll tell you right now, you were on pace to win 42, 43 games last year if you just tried to win basketball games. This is the difference between trying to win and not trying to win. So shout out to you, Pepperjack, for all of your generosity. Of course, the memberships, the gifts, and also for being a VIP member. Thank you very much. I don't think we could have done what we did the last few months without you. So thank you very much. We have a super chat here from Samuel Barefoot. Unfortunately, we'll have to catch the live later. If you have time, any chance you can cover the shed drive at 4th and 9:20-ish left. Cheers, fella. Damn, Samuel. I don't have all. I don't think I have that lot. I don't think I have that clip pulled up, but I'm gonna write a note to myself, and on our next live, which is presumably tomorrow, I am definitely going to break down that live for you because I want to respect your super chat. So I'm just gonna write this down right now because I am old as hell. I'm about to turn 38 in 2 days right now, so I'm old as hell right now. So I want to write this down. 4th, 9:20 shed drive. And I will clip that and have you covered. Thank you so much for the super chat. The homie Nicked said, I said something similar after the Charlotte game, but it's a mark of good teams that even when they don't play that great, they pull out wins. Cavs depleted, but we take this. I agree 100%. I said so myself. And clearly, I think you sent the super chat before I said it. So shout outs to you for having the original thought there. But yeah, I fully agree. I think I'm so used to this team losing games where they don't play well that I'm just not even sure what to do when they play poorly and they win basketball games. It's almost like, am I supposed to feel happy about this or am I supposed to feel sad? Honestly, if you win games, you should probably feel happy regardless. Ben F., what is up, man?
Hey, Rob, you hear me?
Yes, sir, I do. What's up?
All right, perfect, man. I just want to say I'm really happy with the win. Really happy. 8 straight wins. First time we've been on a winning streak like this since 2022, I believe.
Yep.
And I just want to tell you as well, like, honestly, like, good job on your lives. Good job on your hard work. I remember I found your channel, I think, like a couple of years ago, but you've really leveled up and you took it to a next level. I even got one of my close friends to observe your analysis, and you're really good. You got the footage. You give a good mindset, and I really like it. I think you're bringing a lot of fans, and keep doing what you're doing. And I want to let you know my favorite player as well is Scotty Barnes. I do feel he has a lot of talent that's untapped, and we see flashes of greatness, the no-look passes, the great defense. He could take it to the hole. I feel overall he's the best player on the team, but in ways he's held back, maybe because he's just going to grow into it slowly. I believe in him, but I feel like this team somewhat holds him back because a lot of times you've even showed footage where he has like a wide open dunk or he could roll to the rim and nobody's passing it to him and he's clapping his hands and he gets like disengaged. But I feel like he just has to stay focused and he could eventually level up because he's 24. Who knows what he'll be when he's 27, 28. And by that time, God willing, Ingram will be like 31. So Barnes could develop into that next level. Do you agree with that?
I think it's a natural part. You know, Michael Jordan once played on James Worthy's team, right? Mm-hmm. Like Steve Nash was once a backup. Like I feel like this. I definitely think Scotty has a lot, right? Like a lot that he can do.
Yeah, it's possible.
And I don't think that necessarily like last year there's this narrative that, oh, they put the ball in his hands and it didn't work out so well. It's like, nah, that's not entirely true. I mean, Colin, like they had some pretty extenuating circumstances last year in terms of why the Raptors weren't good. And I mean, in fairness, they made him the leader of the team and they immediately turned into an amazing defense. So I think that Scotty has a lot that he can offer. I think in the playoffs, maybe it will be more obvious. I think at some point as a basketball player, I don't know if you play basketball, but it doesn't matter if the team believes in you. It matters if your teammates believe in you. So he's going to have to earn the trust of his older teammates because he is younger than RJ.
He is younger. He's younger than them. Exactly.
So there's a seniority, there's a pecking order thing, and he's a very unselfish person. And so, you know, as long as they're winning, he's not going to complain.
Exactly.
I guarantee it.
Exactly.
You know, he could have 8 points. Exactly. He could have 8 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. If they win, He's a happy guy. He's never been upset after a win ever.
I
So
agree.
winning washes over everything for this guy. And for a guy who has spent the last 2 years on lottery teams, I think for him, winning is the most important thing. So he's not going to ruffle the feathers, but you see it. When the Raptors struggle for 2-3 minutes, what happens? Now he just takes it. He takes it. And he takes over.
Exactly.
So,
Like me
so that's a
and
good
my
thing.
boys see that, and like we're like, come on, Scotty, do it. But I agree with you. In the future, hopefully he could get it fully to be that alpha guy. Right now, obviously, it's Ingram. Ingram, I think, has a lot of talent. Sometimes, like you haven't played the footage where he'll go into like a triple team and then he should pass out, but he got the ball poked out from behind. And obviously, he's earned that because he was a self-made all-star when he was like 24 with the New Orleans Pelicans. He's a great offensive player. So I do give him ratings. I feel as well like Quickly has come a long way from the beginning of the season. It was terrible. He's leveled up. I'm really happy with Shed. Shed's a solid young point guard off the bench. Great passer. You've even said you feel he's the best passer on the team. I would have to agree. I feel Shed is the best point guard. And I want to get your take on this. RJ being out, I'm like a fan of RJ. He's homegrown. He's Canadian, just like one of us. I love that he's on the team. But I do feel he has tunnel vision sometimes. And I do tell my friends, I feel sometimes he's a defensive liability. Like sometimes, like he's a good player. He'll go to the rim. He'll draw fouls. Not the best foul shooter. Shoots like 70%. Wish he could get that up. He's a good, solid player. But I feel like in ways he's defensive liability. So that's why I'm happy to see Walter in this role, because you guys seen it tonight. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 99 points. 99 points, and Walter did great effort, great defense. And I really feel that this team, with that, whoever is in or out, as long as it's not Scotty Barnes out, or Portal, I feel the defense will be solid and they always have a chance. But I want to get your mindset on this. I really want to get your mindset on this. So one thing I got to tell you, Rob, what would you do? And I know you don't like talking trades all the time, but what is your opinion on if, because you've said it, Grady Dick was terrible tonight. I like Grady. He has his on and offs, but I'll be honest with you. What if you package Grady Dick and RJ Barrett and then 2 first-round picks to the Charlotte Hornets, and I already did it in the trade things it works, for Lonzo Ball.
Oof.
And the reason why I say
Ball.
that,
So
LaMelo Ball, LaMelo Ball, the younger brother, LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball is obviously the most talented out of that trade. Obviously, he's more talented than RJ. Obviously, he's more talented than Grady Dick, but he's never won before, so he has childish behavior. Like he'll shoot a 3 from half court. But I feel if you put him in a structure with Ingram,
it's a cart and horse argument, right, Ben?
Yeah.
So does he not win because he has childish behavior, or does he have childish behavior because he doesn't win? Personally, I wouldn't trade for LaMelo Ball. I would rather trade for Jalen Suggs. I'd rather trade for Herb Jones. I'd rather trade for a handful of players over LaMelo Ball. I understand the talent equation.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the talent, because
the talent is immense. Talent is immense.
Yeah,
but sometimes when talent never leads to winning, I have to question the talent and the validity of it. And I don't think LaMelo necessarily. LaMelo's a very smart basketball player.
He is.
He has a good. He has a good IQ.
Childish behavior. I knew you wouldn't like the childish behavior. I know it would make you want to crash out. I know he would have the ball and just chuck up a 3, or crash out.
Yeah. Anyways, man, Ben, thanks for calling in. Do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I have a final thing. Keep on doing what you're doing. You're great, Rob. Honestly, I'm showing all my friends your analysis. Keep up the hard work. And shout out my friend from Knight and Real Estate Advisors, Henry Dang. If you need property, give my business partner Henry Dang a shout.
Appreciate you, man. Sorry, Ben. Appreciate the call. No plugs, no free promos, buddy. AG, what's up, man?
I can't believe the chat would say I would make that trade. There's no way in hell I would make that trade, bro. These guys are on my case, but that's crazy. But hey, good to be here, Rob. Hey, I'm feeling good. I'm a bit buzzed, but I'm okay. I was gonna say, hey, listen, man. Tonight, this is a crazy take. It's not gonna be as crazy as my Derek Lively trade, but if the Raptors didn't play the way they played, i.e., going through Brandon Ingram, they would have lost tonight. Okay, hear me out. The reason I say this is because we had 3 major rotation guys playing like absolute dog bleep, okay, on offense. Jacoby Walter was great defensively. I liked his game. but on offense they were laying so much bricks, they were like freaking builders. So in my opinion, they did the right thing. And here's the thing: you got to take what the defense gives you and look at the game in a vacuum. I mean, the Cavs are ridiculous for going single coverage against BI. I mean, that's barbecue chicken all day. And it's like, bro, like I don't know what they're thinking. And we see the result. He could have went out for like 40 plus tonight. I mean, nobody on that team outside of like Mobley can guard. By the way, Mobley's a glorified young DeAndre Jordan. I don't think he's that good at all. I don't know how he won Defensive Player of the Year. The guy's ass. But anyway, Scotty all day over him, any day of the week. But anyways, going back to the game.
AG, you know Mobley's better than Derek Lively, right? You know that, right?
No, I would take Derek Lively over him, bro. I'll take Derek Lively over him. Sorry, I'm just something.
If there are any Cavaliers fans, the views expressed on the channel are not necessarily my own. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, AG. Oh my God.
Nah, hear me out, bro. He's soft, man. The kid is soft. He's just very soft. I don't like soft players, and Derek Lively's a dog, bro. So, but anyway, we're not going to get into that. But
facts.
Anyway, great team win. Brandon Ingram, amazing. I mean, I love the Kobe shots personally. You have to look at the game in a vacuum. I know you guys are nitpickers and perfectionists. I'm kind of similar, but when it comes to this team, I've learned to take every single game, look at it differently from a vacuum. You know, sure. The situation was what it was. Guys were not hitting shots. Scotty and BI led this team to this victory. Shout out also to Jamal Shed. He was amazing as usual. I mean, he's just Mamu, incredible. Oh, there was one sequence though. I don't know if it was the second or third period or quarter where they were moving the ball so well. It ended up with a Grady brick, but they were just side to side. It was side to side.
Every sequence ended up with a Grady brick, bro. Everyone. He went 0 for 5 tonight. Grady got to start hitting them shots, man. But like, I mean, honestly, it's so weird. Grady is like the analytics marvel, right? Because on the one hand, he's starting to flash positive box minus almost every single game. And then on the other hand, all the lineups with him are like plus 20, plus 18, plus 17. It's just like, how are these lineups working when he plays so ass once every 2 games? I don't get it. My eye test tells me he's been trying really hard on defense. My eye test also tells me he was ass on defense tonight. So, you know, it's weird. Like, I always used to believe it's not possible to be 6'8" and be a terrible defender. I really believe that. Like, I truly believe that if you're 6'7", 6'8" with reasonably long arms in the NBA, you can't truly be terrible. You could be bad, but there's a level to bad. Like, you can never be Trae Young, Anthony Simons bad. And then I saw Grady Dick. And then it made me question everything I knew about basketball. So I was like, shit, he really is that bad. But so, yeah, this year has been nice. It's been nice to see him, you know, sort of elevate himself a little bit from total defensive liability to mild contributor. But tonight just wasn't it, man. This wasn't his game. And, you know, Jalen Tyson was a mid first round pick, late first round pick last year. Thoroughly outplayed him.
He's nice, but he was wide open out there. I don't think he was wide open on a lot of shots.
Why is he open? He is like a 45% 3-point shooter. Do the Raptors do not do like film study like before the game? Do they do a shoot around? Like, what the fuck? The last player in the world. Like, you see what happened when Jamison Battle came in? They fouled him almost immediately on the 3 because they hot shooter. Yo, Jalen Tyson is there. Jamison Battle. Like, I don't understand it, but yes. Anyways, the guy is literally born to shoot. That's what he does. That's why he's in the NBA. He is in the NBA to shoot. So if you're going to leave somebody open, you leave Tyrese Proctor open because he's not in the NBA to shoot. It's like, how are we leaving Jalen Tyson open? How are we leaving Thomas Bryant wide open? How are we losing Evan Mobley in the corner? Like, my God, like, it's just silly shit. Anyways, I disagree with your general premise that we needed Brandon Ingram to play this way. I think we could have won 50 different ways today. I think the Cavaliers played like shit. I think Ingram could have had a different 30, right? There's a way to get 40 that I think is better than other ways to get 40. But when another team plays the way the Cavaliers played tonight and your defense locks in the way it did in portions, you can get away with a little bit of stupid shit offensively. You can get away with a little bit of turnovers. You can get away with your margin of error is so huge sometimes. Like, sometimes you see the OKC Thunder and they play bullshit basketball sometimes too. They do. You know, Shea, the first few games of the season, my God, Shea was driving me insane. Like, he was taking some really contested threes with like the game online. I'm like, what are you doing, Shea? Like, you're fucking up, you know? But the truth is, like, you have a cushion. You have a great defense behind you. You have an overwhelming amount of offensive talent. And, you know, sometimes you can get away with fadeaways from Chet Holmgren from like, you know, 30 feet. Like you can get away with it, right? The Houston Rockets are another example. Alperen Şengün has some of the worst offensive process sometimes, right? Like occasionally he will take some really dumbass shots, but their defense is so elite that it allows him to do that. Like I think people need. Cade is another example. Just a lot of crazy shots sometimes. You know, sometimes his shot selection will drive you nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is, man. I don't think anyone's complaining about the win, especially when it's 8 straight. The Raptors moved to what, 13-5?
Hell yeah.
13-5 sounds so unreal, dude.
It's amazing.
Like I have to pinch myself. I'm like, man, am I gonna wake up at some point and realize the Raptors are not this good a team? Like we're in a group chat for the panel, and I was downplaying it the entire day. I'm like, you know what? The more I talk shit right now, the worse it's going to be for me on the panel when I go tomorrow and the Raptors lose this game. Because walking into this game, I was like, I think the Raptors might lose this game. But then I heard of all the players going to be out, and I'm like, oh, maybe the Raptors won't lose this game. Because I keep thinking, like, man, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they got to have some pride, you know? The Raptors whooped them twice in their house. They're going to come in and whoop us in our house. They're going to have some pride. No pride. Fuck that team, man. They suck.
I'll leave you with this, bro, because I know you got a lot of callers, but I'm just going to say this real quick. I think BI needed this game. Just, you know, have, you know, one of those nights where he just goes off, and it's good for the confidence, good for the, you know, everybody just seeing their microwave score go off crazy. I think I love that, you know, and at the end of the day, Cavs are frauds. They remind me of the 2017, 2018 Raptors. Frauds, fraudulent. They're not going anywhere. Even if they're healthy, they ain't doing nothing because Garland can't guard nobody. What's his face is a lob merchant. They stink and they're unhealthy. And hey, the Cavs have been going at me hard for the last 4 or 5 years. So tonight, hold that L. Okay, I'm smoking on a Cavs pack tonight, and we're going crazy. Let's go.
I appreciate the energy, man. Peace.
Take care.
Have a good one. Okay, next up we got Professor Pixel. What's up from Thailand?
Taiwan.
My bad.
You're not the first person to mix that up.
How have I messed that up like 3 times? I've messed that up exactly 3 times.
Yeah, I have family members. I have like close family members that have mixed that up. So
okay, restart this. Hold on, pull you off.
Sort of like,
pull you back. And we have Professor Pixel here from Taiwan. Dope.
Yeah.
What's good?
Nice
man?
to see you. Nice to see you hanging out there in Cameroon.
Yes.
Oh, sorry,
absolutely.
Canada. Yeah. How's it going?
I feel like your mistake was worse. Okay. Because you're from here too. Like, I mean, that's worse. Right. I'm not from Taiwan. I've never been to Taiwan.
Just really quick. I'm on cloud 9. It's nothing basketball related, but it is something that I think I've mentioned on this channel before, and probably none of you will care. But Canada has just passed a new law called Bill C3, and it allows people like me who are second-class citizens to regain their citizenship rights. My children were born here in Taiwan, and I was actually born in the U.S. So when my children were born, they were second-generation Canadians born abroad, which means that I was prevented from passing on my citizenship rights to my children. So my children were not Canadian, according to the government of Canada. Canada, to its credit, has finally rectified the problem after 2 years of dragging their feet, and my children are now Canadians, as they should have always been, and I am now no longer a second-class citizen. So kudos to Canadian Parliament. Yeah. Now, sorry.
I had no idea about this. That's super cool. You learn something new every day. You may not learn everything you wanted to learn about basketball, but you just learned something about Canadian Parliament. That's dope. We the North 2019 said, when the pixels are that bad, Taiwan looks a lot like Thailand. I don't know who that's an insult towards, but
I don't know what that means, but and I know you wouldn't know it by looking at the pixelated screen sometimes, but Taiwan is ranked as the second best internet in the world, behind only South Korea. Maybe it's
that's dope.
I'm in kind of like a concrete box here, so it probably blocks.
How is cost of living over there relative to Canada? Like
depends on. Yeah, it depends. Like buying a home here is crazy expensive, but renting is super cheap. It's like a third of what it would be in Canada. Like I live in a city that's roughly the same size as Vancouver, and I could rent like a 3-bedroom apartment downtown in a good location for like $500 a month.
That's pretty great. Yeah. So at least in terms of living, that would be really great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
transportation is really transportation is cheap. Food is not cheap, but I mean it's a first world country here, so it's like most things are pretty comparable.
Yeah. The chat is not very impressed with your wallpaper. They say your wallpaper game is mid.
This is not my home. This is my classroom. I'm at work. This is where I teach.
Okay, so your school's wallpaper game is mid.
It's awful. It's awful.
It's awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they doing
worst.
to the children? They're not inspiring them, that's for sure.
They haven't updated this room since like the 70s.
For real, that's 70s wallpaper. Okay, what'd you think of the
Probably.
game, man?
Okay. I like the result. I don't like this style of offense at all, but I can't say that it is bad offense because it worked. It's only bad offense when it doesn't work. It's only bad offense when players that have no business trying to play like this are playing like this.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
But I think a lot of what's been lost in the weeds is Scotty Barnes' play today, which I think was absolutely fantastic. And there was a play that you highlighted earlier on when you were going through the videos. Scotty ran that fast break and then passed to Yak, and
Right over. Yeah.
Passed right over to Yak. And what I saw is Scotty doing all that effort, grabbing the rebound, running as hard as he could, cutting, like splitting through the defense, running hard. He could have gone straight all the way and dunked it. He could have. And then at the last second, just a beautiful, wide open, totally unselfish play for an easy bucket for his teammate. And it got me in my feelings. I literally was like, oh, that's my Scotty. He is happier that the play went that way than he would have been if he just dunked over someone.
Yeah. He's absolutely a point guard.
Yeah.
Like
in his heart. He is.
Yeah. In his heart and his mind, in his spirit, he is a point guard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in his body, he is a power forward / small forward. And it is very weird because defensively, and you know what? This is the strangest thing. I think a lot of people who are selfishly inclined or selfishly motivated, who naturally gravitate towards wanting all the limelight and credit, would look at a game like this and say, well, they froze out Scotty from the offense. He looked pretty frustrated at times too. There were quite a few times where he was just clapping his hands, waving his hands. He's complaining to the coaches on the sideline. I've been missed 3 times in a row. He's complaining to Jama Malalela. Talk to them. Mm-hmm. I think the Raptors are going to force Scotty to take up for himself. He's going to have to develop the courage that no matter how talented and how much you respect your teammates, at some point, you're going to have to become confrontational. Because what I have realized is that Dennis Schroeder did this to you. Fred VanVleet did this to you. RJ and IQ do this to you. Now Ingram's going to do it to you. Everyone in the world is going to do this to you until you stand up for yourself, because not everyone is Jamal Shed. Not everyone has that thing in their mind of like, let me get the play to the guy who's actually going to make the best play for my team. I guarantee you very many times that Ingram could have passed to Barnes. All Barnes would have done is gotten him a better look. That's all Scotty would have done with that play. And yeah, sometimes this sort of egalitarian offense shit doesn't work for guys who have goals coming into the game that are individual. Obviously, this is a nationally televised game. The Pelicans didn't play a lot of national television. The Raptors are not going to play a lot of national television games this year. So the truth is, Brandon Ingram walked into this scenario, and he said, people have forgotten about me. They don't watch me play. I've been injured a lot. Think they forgot about me. So this is what you work for. You do want your peers to know who you are. Every one of my group chats right now is talking about this game. Why? Because they were finally able to watch it. The Raptors just aren't seen very much. I mean, this is a game that his family can watch. There's pride on the line here, personal pride. Sometimes personal pride can get in the way of team pride, but I think if there's any star in the world who's going to be very forgiving of that, that's going to be Scotty. His interview after the game was just give the ball to Brandon Ingram, get out of the way. That's what he said. He's like, just give the ball to her. I've never heard him say that about anybody, So, Brandon Ingram's going to make some headlines tonight. He's going to dominate the news cycle. People are going to be like, wow, Brandon Ingram's amazing. And look, the Raptors have won 8 straight. Brandon Ingram's amazing. It's going to generate some positive buzz around him. And honestly, probably not the worst thing for the Raptors, who just signed this guy to a $120 million contract.
Yeah, for sure. And I actually think I was thinking ahead a little bit, and I think this is going to work in the playoffs. I really do, because BI has not been feasting against easy defensive coverages this season. He's getting doubled instantly every single time he touches the ball. And I mean, he's getting defended hard. Like he has to be spinning around, and he has to make some pretty tough passes out of doubles. In the playoffs, it's just going to be the same thing. And he's able to score against elite defenses. And so, like, without a player like BI, it would be a lot easier to shut down the Raptors. I think he's going to just be a headache for opposing teams. And just the way that this roster is constructed, the Raptors can play egalitarian offense. They can play humming ball movement. They can play in transition, and now they can play in the half court. So I like, how are coaches going to scheme for this? I think this is going to be good. I think it's very sustainable in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think it is too. And I think a lot of people will hold Brandon Ingram's last playoff appearance against him, Team USA, the inability to blend in with his lineups. Unfortunately, those are the last two memories that most people have of Brandon Ingram. Other than people in Toronto who are watching his story unfold here and can appreciate all the wonderful things that he does, most people still remember Brandon Ingram as that guy. So this game reverses, perhaps, in the long run, kind of like the forest and the trees argument. You put up a game like this, you put the entire league on notice, your scoring gravity goes from extreme to extremely extreme, right? Which now you can start to unlock maybe some of your playmaking stuff that we haven't seen as much of in Toronto. I'm gonna be honest, like I saw a lot more playmaking last year from him in the Pelicans. And I think maybe this is just a matter of him learning his teammates and learning to trust his teammates, learning that, hey, if I trust Scotty on this play here, I'm going to get the ball back. If I trust Grady on this play, he's going to make this shot. And I think with Ingram comes from a different school of basketball than the Europeans, right? Like Europeans, it's like you make the right pass. If you get two to the ball, you immediately pass to the corner. That's the European philosophy. That is not Brandon Ingram's philosophy. Brandon Ingram's like, two defenders, I welcome it. Third defender, I also welcome it. This is not a problem for me. I'm going to get through this. No problem. And that's the way he's always played. He's taken on that. I like that he invites doubles. I really do like that. There are some guys who shy away from doubles. Scotty shies from doubles. He doesn't like double teams. So he tries to get rid of the ball prematurely sometimes. I think Scotty can learn from Ingram. I think he should probably, as much as I have a lot of head scratching, like, what the fuck are you doing plays with Ingram, there's also a lot of like, how are you doing this so well, Ingram plays tonight too. So it's a mixed bag. Like, I found myself so conflicted with Ingram's game today because it was like two plays, I'll be like, wow, keep doing that. And then the next play, it'd be like, oh, fuck, don't do that. It was such a visceral experience watching him play tonight. So, I tend to agree with you, though. This is going to be very hard to stop in the playoffs. And I used to say that you need like a few ingredients to win a championship. Like you need a top 5 offense or defense. And then the other thing has to be top 10. Right. So if it's a top 5 offense, it's got to be top 10 defense. If it's a top 5 defense, it's got to be at least a top 5 offense. So you got that. You've got that right now. And tonight, I think your defense only got better. Right. And with RJ not playing, I think your defense is going to get even better because one of your weaker defenders is now out of the lineup. So you got that. Your offense is going to keep humming. So you got that. Top 10 player and experience. Can't get experience without going to the playoffs. But the top 10 player thing, if one of BI or Scotty or these two by amalgamation can become a top 10 player, do the Raptors have a chance at like sniffing a finals right now? They look better than the Indiana Pacers did last year. At this point, are they more talented than the Indiana Pacers? Can I make a solid argument that this team right now has more talent on paper than that Indiana Pacers team?
Yeah. Well, I mean, go through it top to bottom, right?
I prefer Scotty over Tyrese Halliburton.
I prefer Jakob over Turner.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, I think in the playoffs, I prefer BI over Siakam just because of what we talked about. He can be doubled and scored just as effectively as like Pascal had a different way of scoring. I think that he had a great playoffs this past year. But
have you ever seen a scoring game from Siakam as impressive as this?
No, and that's exactly right. That's exactly it. Like Siakam needed Halliburton to unlock him. He needed
Right.
the stretch, the floor spacing that Turner provided. Like he needed that. BI is the one who creates the advantages, not takes advantage of the advantages.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I make one swap on this team. Now, I want you to know. Okay, first of all, if you had to rate this team's chances of getting to the finals out of the East on a scale of 1 to 100, 100% being a lock and 0% being go fuck yourself, what is it right now?
The Raptors, right? Are we talking if the playoffs started tomorrow or if the playoffs are next spring?
No, playoffs are in the spring.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm going to say a number, and it's going to sound really low to people, but compared to the actual odds of teams making it to the finals, like it's probably not a disrespectful.
It's going to be
number,
higher
but
than Vegas. That much I'll
it's
tell
going
you.
to be high. Like right now, I would say 15%.
15%. Okay. Now I want to make a tweak to this team. One tweak, and you tell me what happens to 15%. Emmanuel quickly for Jalen Suggs.
Yeah. Ooh. If he's healthy, then that bumps it up to 20%. If he's not, then it drops down. I mean, that's a tough one to peg just because of health. Yeah.
Have you seen Jalen Suggs' splits, dude?
Oh,
have you seen Jalen Suggs'
20-25%? Well, speaking of Jalen Suggs, I don't know if you may or may not recall, that is Jalen Suggs is the one disagreement that you and I have had, and that is not that I was saying that I didn't want Scotty Barnes to be the pick, but I remember talking to you before after they picked Scotty Barnes, and I was saying, well, Jalen Suggs is going to be a really good prospect, and I think that he's going to be he's also going to be a really, really good player in the league, and I would have been happy with either pick. And you kind of went at me for that one, and which is fine. I mean,
because I think there's a decided gap, but I will remind you, I had Jalen Suggs number 4 on my board. I had Scotty number 3.
Yeah, I know.
I had Mobley number 2, and I had Cade number 1. That was my official board for what I thought the Raptors should do. My personal board, however, was Scotty, Cade, Mobley, Suggs, and then I think it was Giddey or Şengün, I can't remember, and then Jalen Green was all the way down like 8 or 9. So in terms of like how I felt about Suggs, honestly, it was just a lot of annoyance because of everything that's coming from Raptors Republic about like, we should have gotten Suggs. I can't believe we fucked up. It's like, fuck you people. You're not going to ruin Scotty's rookie season like this, you know? But after about a year of watching Jalen Suggs struggle with the Orlando Magic, and he really struggled to start his rookie season, I fell in love with his defense. And then I watched him in the play-in, I think last year, and I was just like, well, not the play-in, the in-season tournament. And I was like, dude, 100%, please.
There was one game. There was one game last season, at the beginning of last season, when Orlando played Toronto, and that's the game I fell in love with his defense. I think it might be the same for you because you talked about it afterwards. He was just tenacious. It was incredible.
Yeah. This professor looks like he hasn't picked up a basketball in his life. Why is this nerd trying to analyze the game? Stick to math, professor.
Ouch.
Okay. Ow. Right. Oh my God. Oh my God. And
I mean,
here's the crazy thing. He thought so much of this comment that he posted it 5 times.
Well, to be fair, I haven't picked up a basketball in like 30 years, but sure. I mean, I played high school ball, my man. And also I am a nerd and I have taught math. And so that's why I'm talking about 2 of the things that I like is nerdiness and basketball. But yeah.
You've angered him now. We have lost
what did I say? What did I say to this guy?
Okay, so I have a theory. It's a great theory. It makes everyone laugh and it makes some people cry. Here's the theory, okay? So I presented this on the panel and they were not fans of this theory, but I think that this is a good theory. I think that certain people, and when I say certain people, I think you understand who I mean. This guy right here, this demographic right here, get really triggered by the idea of math being introduced or numbers being introduced into basketball. They don't like numbers because probably numbers have been used to make them feel bad their whole lives. They saw their test score. 12 out of 39. They didn't like the test score. They looked at their bank balance. They have $2 in their bank account. Overdraft protection, not optional. They're not happy. They look at their cholesterol score. That's not very good. The lottery ticket that they buy every single week, it never comes their way. So I feel like math and numbers have largely been used to disarm their self-worth their whole lives. And so now they have a very negative association with numbers. They don't like numbers. They also weren't very good at math. And a lot of people made fun of them for it. So I have a feeling that this guy got on his, keyboard today and got really, really angry at the keyboard. And he's just like, tell this nerd math teacher to stop talking ball. That's what I think he sounds like. That's my theory. I don't know.
Maybe my 15% triggered him. Maybe he's one of these guys that think the Raptors are a lock for the finals.
You should have gone with 15.76% or something like that. Just
really
or maybe
really
what you should have done is this. You should have pulled out a scientific calculator on page like this and just been
out of my shirt pocket here, right?
Yeah, just pull out carry the 2. Okay, well, I've come to this wonderful conclusion that the Raptors have a 17.86% chance of going to the NBA Finals, Rob. Yeah, I would honestly tend to agree with you. I think it's probably 8 to 10% right now. I'm probably there right now as it sits, because I think they have a lot of holes, and I do think that in order to get through the East, you're gonna have to deal with some size, right up front. Mitchell Robinson, you're gonna just lose the possession battle night after night, and you're gonna hurt Scotty Barnes and Jakob Pearl trying to deal with all these guys. So I'm inclined to say that if they get a backup center and then make a change to the starting lineup that makes them more defensively oriented, I'm willing to go as high as 22%, but I don't think it's going to get higher than that this season.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The Knicks fans over on Knicks boards are saying things like that their team is a fraud. They don't think their team's going to go far in the playoffs. So I don't know. The Knicks might be
Well, the minute they hired Mike Brown, you knew it wasn't going to happen, right?
That's fair.
I don't know if that's entirely fair to Mike Brown, but I just felt like taking the ball out of Brunson's hands is not going to go well with Brunson, and it's probably not going to go well with anyone in that locker room. But I don't know. We'll see. I think the Knicks have a higher ceiling because they have a higher talent level, between Brunson, Cat, Mikal Bridges. They're the pieces are there, and they're more veteran laden team. So I think that generally helps. But at the same time, I just
Are you looking at the chat? Professor Pixel's jersey number would be 3.14. I love that.
Life of Pi.
Oh, dude. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah. So overall, I think this team is a trade away. I still believe that. I just can't get over the idea that this team is a trade away. But that being said, damn, for a team that had so many problems coming into the season, predict the record after 30 games. Okay, this one's for you, and I'll chime in as well. What's the record after 30 games? You need a calculator? Okay, let's see here.
I got it all up here, man.
Oh, you got it in your head? Okay, well, I'm gonna be the nerd who's got to use a calculator here. Okay, so yeah, the Raptors, they have played 18 games, so you just need to predict 12 more games. Someone's saying 20 and 10. 21 and 9?
21 and 9, 22 and 8, maybe. 21 and 9. They got a pretty easy schedule. 22 and 8. Let's go 22 and 8.
I mean, for real, today was the hard game, if we're being honest. The next game is Indiana. And by the way, that doesn't actually have a consequence for the NBA Cup at all, because we've already made it. So that's worth thinking about. Yeah. We've already made it.
That's true.
So, I mean, we have, next game, Wednesday, Indiana, then Charlotte, then New York, then Portland. We can win 1, 2, 3, 4. We can do this. At which point, we will go on one of the craziest runs in franchise history. Already won 8 straight. That would be 12 straight. I remember last year, I remember a few years ago, there was the 70-73 win Golden State Warriors. They came out to such a blistering start, And everyone was starting to do math like on when are they going to lose their next game, and then we'd be like months from now. It's like, oh, they're not going to lose again until next year, and it's like, fuck me, wow, okay, like this is crazy. Like imagine being a fan of that team, and now who knows, man? We might be a fan of that team. Who knows? This team could push 55, 56 wins. Like right now,
reason
they're
I think that-
mathematically,
Yeah.
they're on track for about a 58 win season right now. They're not going to win at 58. I keep telling myself, nope, temper it. But shit. Do you know what
I mean, it could.
Raptors 50 plus wins? Not that I'm advocating for gambling in hindsight. Do you know what Raptors 50 plus wins paid in the preseason? It was like
I have no
9
idea.
to 1. It was like
Yeah.
9 to 1. 9 to 1, 10 to 1. Shit. Oh, why do I have the stance that I have against sports betting? Okay. It's just free money. Damn. Yeah.
The reason though that I think that they might not go on. I don't think that their win streak is gonna last that much longer, is because I see the trend of the offense, the way that the offense is trending. And I mean, BI is not going to score 37 points every game. He's going to have some stinkers. And if the offense is we live or die by what Brandon Ingram is doing in the half court, then the Raptors are going to
But
lose
it's
a few
not.
games.
But it's not that, because he has shot 29% from three. He's 52% effective field goal percentage. And we were, prior to this game, we were 12-5. We haven't needed him to be great. We haven't needed 37 points a night from him. We've gotten it from everywhere. And I think that's the most impressive thing. Like I think we can both
You're
agree.
right.
Scotty and Ingram can play better. They can play way better.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely they can. I'm just seeing the trend, you know. I see the graph in my head here, you know, and the trend is kind of leaning more and more to Brandon Isoball. And I just think that if it continues, it's gonna bite the team, and then they're gonna have to do a little bit of a recalibration.
You know what? I think the difference is, like, whereas in the past, I think Scotty was willing to let things like this go because he didn't have the power. Now he does have the power. You know what I mean? So either in a timeout, he'll confront it, or on the court, he'll confront it. And I've seen him do this like 6 times this year already, where it gets too much into the hands of Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett, and he runs out of patience, and he's just like, nope. And then he just controls 6 straight possessions, and he just screams for the basketball until they give it to him. Right? Now, you might ask, why does the team's best player have to fight so much to get the ball? He's also the youngest of those 4 players. He's the least experienced of those 4 players, you know? So this is a little bit like, you know, sometimes Jason Tatum was struggling to get the ball from Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward early in his career, you know? But yeah, I think everyone knows, like, Scotty's great, but I think sometimes his offensive process can be a little bit clunky, and I can understand why Ingram and IQ can kind of look him off sometimes, just be like, nah, we got it, bro. So Power 35 said Ingram is a top 20 player in the NBA. I'm one of his biggest fans, and I would absolutely say no, he's not.
No.
If he's a top 20 player, if he was a top 20 player, I think our chances of actually winning, going to the finals, would be like 50%.
Where would you put him? I'd put him maybe around 35. What about you? I'd put him in the top 35.
I would put Scotty at around 16, 15, 17, something like that. On a bad day, maybe 20, maybe on a good day, 13, somewhere in that range, 13 to 20. I'd put Ingram somewhere between 30 and 42. Yeah, somewhere around there. So we're close. I would actually
Far
put
cry from 100.
Oh, he was 77th.
Oh no, yeah, he was 77th, right? That was RJ. That was 100.
Where would you put RJ?
I'd put him where I put Ingram, 72. No, maybe 60. I don't know. I think RJ's been sneaky good. I'd put him in the 60s.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like there's so many players that don't get the opportunities that he does. Like, I look at a guy like Malik Monk playing in a terrible situation, and I'm like, I think that guy's amazing. Like, I really think Malik is wasting away. If I could make one trade, it would actually be with the Sacramento Kings for both Keon and Malik. Oh my God. Keon for Malik, like Keon and Malik for whatever the hell you want. Take it, you know, take a feature first, whatever. Like, they would help so much because they would stabilize everything. And yeah, I mean, this team's gonna make a trade. I'm actually very curious about it. Someone said, "Who gives a fuck about the rankings?" I don't know. Assuming somebody, there's 513 people in here. I'm assuming somebody cares.
People that like talking about basketball.
Yeah, man. You never heard of Player's Choice? We spend like all day, all night ranking players out, debating whether this guy's a top 3 player, top 10 player, top 20 player. This guy's peaking all time. Speaking of which, I ask you one final question before you get out of here. Who's your MVP so far this year? Not
Like
on the
in the
Raptors,
league?
but like in the league. Yeah.
It's got to be Jokic. It's got to be Jokic.
If there's a threat to him, it's got to be Shea. And
Shea, yeah.
like Shea's numbers aren't as great as Jokic's, but they are legitimately on pace, dude, for like a 72 to 73 win season. If they keep this up, they are not healthy at all. Like they're not even close to healthy. They're missing their second best player, and they are currently on pace for 72 wins.
Yeah. It's madness.
The gap between them and everyone else has grown so much. Speaking of like great players, you know who I think is a better player than RJ Barrett? This is going to sound very controversial to people. AJ Mitchell.
Ooh. I mean, he's been good.
He's been great. He's a great shooter. He's a great ball handler. He's twitchy. He stays on balance, and he's a really good defender. My God, like
if we didn't have Jamal Shed, I would be screaming to pick up AJ as our backup point guard. I mean, even as a starter, he's I don't know. Well, I don't know. It's tough to say. Put him in a different situation, but yeah, he's just been cooking.
I see him as more of an off guard. Someone said 20 game sample. I don't care, dude. Like 20 game sample, 15 game sample. What are you, basketball? Okay.
There we go. There's the numbers, nerd. Pick on that guy.
Is Reed Shepherd better than RJ? This season, he has been significantly better. This season.
You think? Oh, he's been better than last season. You think Reed Shepherd this season has been better than RJ? Oh, maybe I should check. Maybe I should check into it more.
Okay. Here's something really funny. From what I have been seeing, yes, Reed Shepherd has been awesome. But I'm gonna actually share something. I'm gonna share my screen, and you're gonna set your face to absolute shock. Hold on one sec. So here's how the analytics model box minus sees Reed Shepherd. It is actually pretty insane. Where are we? Here. Okay. So top players in box minus. Guess where Reed Shepherd is?
Can't see this tiny screen here, but you tell me.
Okay.
Fourth, fifth. What's he at?
Here are the top players in the NBA per box minus. It is Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey, and Reed Shepherd.
Reed Shepherd, 7th. Wow.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And this has held up the entire season. This is not a small sample by any means. He has played 335 insane minutes. Every analytic tracks. He is on the court. They are good. He is off the court. They are not good. And he has turned around his season in a way that I can't even quantify. I have no way to justify this. I don't know how to reconcile this in my head because he doesn't feel like the 7th best player in the world. And I don't think he's the 7th best player in the world. But like for real, like he feels like a top 60 player right now to me.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah,
he's been good.
Oh my goodness. So much for them needing a point guard in a trade.
Yeah. See, once again, Fred VanVleet holding people back.
Yeah. Catching strays.
The narrative continues, man. The narrative continues. I don't care. But Fred VanVleet would tell you he's coaching guys up, right? Scotty's Scotty's at number 19. But shout outs to Emmanuel Quickly, 42, OG Anunoby, 43. Kind of interesting. They were traded for each other. They both have a 2.3 box minus, which is interesting. And Pascal Siakam right there. Mm-hmm. You can't make this up. They all have a 2.3 and they're right next to each other, which is super interesting. There's Evan Mobley at 1.9, a very disappointing season for him. Alex Sarr, second-year player. Shout outs to Jalen Tyson, last year, rookie. A lot of people like him. Trey Murphy, AJ Mitchell right there at at 58, but I think a lot of the other analytics like really love him. Like some of his defensive analytics are truly off the charts. Shout outs to Isaiah Stewart coming in at 60. And guess where Brandon Ingram is? 116, right there. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. The stat doesn't capture everything, obviously, but it does capture certain things, and it certainly looks as turnovers as a bad thing. And Brandon Ingram averages a ton of turnovers. Like relative to usage, his turnover rate is so insanely high.
Yep.
But yeah. Anyways, Daryl, any final thoughts, man?
Yeah. One last thing. Free Jamison Battle.
Yeah. Does have a 4.0 box plus minus. He's like our Reed Shepherd.
You might even argue he's better than Reed Shepherd.
He is not better than Reed Shepherd.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
No, it's so weird. Like Jamison Battle is such a funny player because every time he comes on the court is like it's like 2 minutes of very good for the entire team, but not very much for him. But today he came on and he's just like, wow, he's averaging 200 points per 100 possessions. You know, like it's perfect. Just get off the court. You know, very quickly after that. I think he's pretty compromised defensively, if I'm being honest. Like I know occasionally he'll do a couple things, but like he just has some trouble laterally moving his feet a little bit. And also like he reminds me a little bit of the dude in Phoenix whose name I'm forgetting right now, who is almost exclusively there just to shoot threes. And I'm forgetting his name right now, but I watched him all last year and I'm just blanking on the name. But yeah, I don't know. Someone said he's not worse than Grady. He's so different than Grady. So different than Grady. Like a totally different type of athlete, totally different type of player. But Kobe Bryant. There we go. It is Kobe Bryant. Yes. Kobe Bryant, the guy who's just there to shoot threes. And shout outs to Grayson Allen, the guy who we almost could have gotten for Fed VanVleet in the trade. Always remember that. Yeah, Phoenix Suns are rolling, man. The Phoenix Suns are like the Toronto Raptors of the Western Conference right now. They're down against Houston right now, but they've been a pretty good team. Yeah. Okay, man. Good talking to you as always. Thank you, Professor Pixel, for calling in.
From Thailand.
Yeah. From Taiwan. Oh, now. Oh, see now you're making the mistake.
That was some low key sarcasm, just in case I missed it. Anyway, I think
I'm assuming people in Taiwan do not have a sense of humor about being confused with Thailand.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they have a great sense of humor about that. They don't have a great sense of humor about being called part of China, but being called Thailand, they chuckle about that.
Okay, someone said I'm in Taiwan right now. Ha ha.
Sweet. Is that true? What does the ha 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 mean?
I feel like you're being paranoid for no reason.
Does that mean he's metaphorically in Taiwan? I don't know.
No, I think he's legitimately in Taiwan. Look at his name.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
And the image.
Yeah,
that screams that he is actually in Taiwan.
Cool.
I don't know why. Yeah. Anyways, man, talk to you later. Peace.
For sure. See ya.
Okay, the Toronto Raptors. We got a relatively funny post-game show. That's great. That's always dope. Shout outs to all of our members who showed up for our members live yesterday. And we're going to continue pushing. And shout outs to the Harada method. And we have one more caller, Jan Habitson. Unfortunately, bro, you have not connected any of your devices. So you're going to have to do that. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up, Jan?
Oh, sorry, man. Okay. I haven't called in a minute. Okay, it's crazy because everyone who's called in so far, like I basically is the reason why I'm calling in too. I'm excited to start the season. The Raptors are doing great. Happy. The reason why I'm calling is because like again, people said this already who've called in today about like the Raptors. Like I feel like Scotty Barnes has not got enough touches, right? And I feel like he's been great when he has gotten enough touches. Yes, he's had some, lapses where he's looked lost out there, but I don't know. Like I feel like especially with RJ and even with Quickly, I feel like they wave him off. Like he's not handling the ball at all. He doesn't bring up the ball at all. Too much him standing in the corner. I mean, is there like I get it, RJ and IQ. They handle the ball a lot, but is it like even last year he brought the ball up. He had a lot of on ball responsibilities. Like, isn't that something like Darko could make happen? You know what I'm saying? Put him in a situation where he gets the ball more because like again, we're winning, right? So it's I can sit here and nitpick and like, oh, why don't you just be happy that your team is winning this and that there? Well, because Scotty, like, say as a Raptors fan, as a Scotty Barnes fans, we want to see Scotty Barnes, be the reason why we win, which he has been. He's the reason why we won. I'll say he's arguably been our best player so far, but that's just my take. I don't know how you feel on it though.
I just want the Raptors to win, man. And
Yeah.
in terms of player touches, here, let's see if this is true. So let's see how many touches every single Toronto Raptor gets. In terms of touches, Emmanuel Quickley number 1, Scotty Barnes number 2, RJ Barrett number 3, Brandon Ingram number 4. In terms of front court touches, Scotty Barnes number 1, Brandon Ingram number 2, RJ Barrett number 3, Emmanuel Quickley number 4, Jakob Poeltl number 5. Time of possession, IQ, Jamal Shed, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett. Average seconds per touch, Jamal Shed, Emmanuel Quickley, Garrett Temple.
That's
Just one,
crazy.
3 minutes played. 3 minutes played. Shout outs to him. Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Jacoby Walters. So look, average dribbles per touch. Like
The
it's
time of possession, he's lower on that list. You take that in, right? Like he doesn't
yeah, but
when
that's
he
a good
has the
thing.
ball, he doesn't.
Yeah, but
It's
that's a good
true.
thing. But the point
It
is he's
is.
touching the ball. Every time you touch the
Yeah.
ball is an opportunity to score, right?
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if this is serious, but go fuck yourself.
Mhm.
So Geraltov Rivia, why are you showing stats, nerd? I'm assuming you're joking. I'm going to give you the credit that I think you're joking. But if you're not joking, genuinely go fuck yourself. But the point of showing stats is, yeah, sometimes I feel the way you feel as well.
Mhm.
But that's why we go to the numbers. We go to the numbers because sometimes there's things that we overlook for. Like, obviously, it's very obvious that if you want Scotty Barnes to be the reason you're winning, you're going to notice the times he gets looked off more than the times Grady gets looked off. But if you're
True.
Grady Dick's mom, you're going to notice how much times Grady was open, right?
Yeah.
Everybody notices different things.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, I watch the game from a pretty Scotty lens, like a pretty Scotty centric lens at
Which
times.
I do too, which is the reason why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've learned to not do that. I'm learning not to do that. I'm learning not to watch the lens through my favorite player's eyes. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want, like, obviously, like Scotty Barnes, Jacoby Walter. Yeah, I like these guys a lot more than I
Mhm.
like certain other players on the team. I get it. So when
Mhm.
Jacoby plays well, I'm a little bit more hyped. And
True.
when Scotty plays well, I'm a little bit more hyped. Like, if Scotty had
Mhm.
37 points tonight, I'd be talking so much shit. Oh my God. Brandon
Yeah.
Ingram has 37 points. I'm like, yeah, that's BI. That's BI. That's what he does. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but at the same time, if BI had 6 blocks or 5 blocks and a steal, I might talk shit there too. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just about that. But yeah, I think Scotty's happy winning games.
True.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Especially
And
the past 2 years. Yeah.
yeah, and like most of the league does acknowledge that he is our best player. The
Mhm.
fact that a few Raptor fans think he's not our best player, especially after tonight when BI puts up 37, it doesn't matter. I
Mhm.
broke it down in the live earlier. I think BI is a specialist scorer.
No,
He is
he
a
is. He
specialist
is. He's
scorer, you
our
know?
best scorer without a doubt. Like I don't think
Absolutely.
there's no debate on that. Do you know how long RJ is going to be out? Like, do you know this is a serious injury or not? I
Could be
don't
2
know.
weeks, 2 weeks plus.
Okay, I think this is. I think this is good for Scotty too because I think he'll be able to handle the ball a lot more. I think there's going to be more room for him to score as well. And I don't know. I just feel like man, like yeah, RJ's been good, but man, like I feel like he's had moments where he's just been a little bit frustrating, like tunnel vision defensively.
Hasn't
I
Scotty been frustrating sometimes too? Haven't they
he
all been frustrating? I mean,
they
to be
they
honest, like I've
have.
had moments with Quickly where I'm thinking Quickly's playing perfect basketball. Then I've had moments where I'm like Quickly's playing terrible basketball. Today
But
I thought he played terrible.
recently he's been playing much better. After after game 5 or game 6, like I was with you. I thought quickly, like I thought I was on trade quickly for John Morant. Like please make that deal. But now I'm not so sure. I think we should better keep him because he's definitely played much better. Credit to him. But yeah, you're right. I think everyone's had like every starter has had their moments where they've been very frustrating. But I don't know. I just feel like I don't know if we could seriously win with RJ. If you know what I mean. Like I don't know if we're actually gonna be able to like compete and contend with RJ as our starter. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not sure like if he's that much worse than Emmanuel Quickly. to be honest. And the last time these two guys were in the playoffs, it was actually RJ who played really well, and it was Quickly who shit the bed completely
He
for
did.
the Knicks.
He
So,
did.
I mean, the way I see it is like, we got to give him a chance. He's
Mhm.
been playing without the ball, as you can see in the numbers. He's not dominating possessions. He's not over dribbling the basketball too
Mhm.
often.
Mhm.
He's doing quick hitters. He's playing off the ball. He's done everything they've asked him to do within his capability. He's taken open catch and shoots. He's cut out a lot of the mid-range jump shot bullshit that used to drive,
Yeah.
Knicks fans crazy. So I think RJ's doing his best to stay around. He's doing his best to win. And honestly, as much as, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly have taken a lot of shit from people, I also feel like RJ Barrett's taking a lot of shit from people. And I don't want to contribute to that anymore. Anyways, I guess we've lost Jan Habitson. Let's get to Brandon Ingram's post game. I've recently noticed that since the Raptors have been winning, some of these post games are getting flagged for copyright, and I don't necessarily want to be losing dollars. So I'm going to I'm not even going to let this play without putting a screen over. In the past, I've let moments of it play, then I'll put the screen over to disrupt it. Now I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to let it run. And this is going to be Brandon Ingram's post game, and hopefully YouTube does not like this.
Did you know it was going to be your night? What kind of cued you that you were going to have to carry a pretty good load? Or have the opportunity?
Two things. I knew there was a possibility RJ wouldn't be in the lineup tonight, and I knew but collectively we was going to all have to step up a little bit with his scoring and how effective he is on the defensive end. And the other thing is,
yeah, you heard that correctly. He just said on the defensive end.
I didn't do much of nothing last night,
So interesting, because you shot 6 for 18 last night. So maybe this was like kind of a comeback game for him.
it was a fitting time to do something tonight.
You've been talking about how you still don't feel at 100%, but you're getting there slowly but surely. Was tonight one of those nights where you're I'm finally starting to get to that point?
I'm curious to hear the answer to this.
Yeah, I mean, I felt good. Shots went in. I think the biggest thing is timing and seeing space on the floor, seeing where the open pass is, not being so slow to make the open pass.
Thank you.
And on the defensive side, just seeing things a little bit earlier. So I think it's just getting my timing together.
Your pump fake, especially recently, has been especially effective. I mean, Jamal was just in here saying that you're the type of guy that you're not using it necessarily to draw fouls, you're using it to score. Is there an influence, somebody as you were growing up, learning
Kobe.
the game that you kind of picked
KD.
that up from?
Allen Iverson.
Kobe. I don't pump fake 4 times like he did, but I know when an aggressive defender is guarding me and using his hands and just trying to be antsy, and I just kind of know when to use it.
Darko was in here making sure to point out that in addition to your scoring, you played a big role defensively with rebounding and just your length.
This is a crazy callback. Tony Kukoc, amazing.
At the rim, how meaningful is it to know that not only are you helping this team win, but you're also fitting in with what they want to do?
Well, that was one of the things that I wanted to do, looking at them last year, seeing how hard they worked on the defensive end. I wanted to fit right in and make sure that my defensive pressure was the same.
He did mention that a few times, and I found that to be a very, very encouraging sign that he felt like, I don't want to screw it up, right? That's a very positive team first mentality of hey, they've got it rolling. This is who they are. I want to fit them, as opposed to the egomaniac, that comes in and just well, I'm too good offensively to play defense. No, fuck that. Brandon Ingram's playing some of the best defense that I've seen from him in a long time. The analytics still think he's a terrible defender, but I can see with my eyes that he's making an effort.
That I was bringing my ability to the game too, and that's rebounding the basketball, being able to see stuff off the ball and continue to work on my own ball defense. So I knew it was going to be something that would make me better, and I just wanted to be a part of it.
I believe Jamal is second in the league in assists to turnover. He had another 7 assists, 1 turnover today. as a point guard, obviously he's got the ball in his hands a lot. He's making a lot of decisions with the ball. What is it about him and his game that allows him to be such an efficient playmaker?
He's just, he's pretty mature at his age. Man, I've had a chance to see him at Houston a little bit. And seeing how he played, I know he was the best player on the floor most of the time when he played in Houston, and he has a high IQ and he knows how to control the game. He knows who to get the basketball to, who's hot on the basketball floor, what guys are doing in defensive rotations. He's able to make the right pass, so he's continuing to get better. You see him even pulling some three-pointers this year that he wouldn't do last year, so he's continuing to learn the game and applying it when we need it.
Brandon, the last 2 games with 2 point guards on the floor with Jamal and Emmanuel, how does that change what you guys are able to do on offense and the spots that you're able to get into?
It spreads the floor a little bit more, especially for Quickly. He's able to be at his normal positions.
Damn, this interview is very long. I did not realize it was this long playing in, but good for him.
More on the basketball, getting into the lanes, still seeing passes, but he's able to, be more of a scorer than facilitator when Jamal is out there. And I think it's a good thing to have when you have 2 point guards on the floor that can see different things on the floor that everybody else can't see. It makes the game easier.
When you were traded here, you were very vocal about the fact that you wanted to be here, and obviously you extended and all that.
Yes, he was.
Now a month into the season, what has been kind of a highlight or a favorite part about playing for this team?
I guess Darko coming in the locker room yelling. But that's just not one day, it's every day. He brings the energy every single day. He's the leader of our team. He makes sure that we bring it to practice.
Yeah, shout outs to Darko indeed.
To games, to shoot arounds. He makes sure that we have it every single time we step on the basketball floor. So, that's for me, the best part about being here is just our coach is present every single day.
Brandon.
Shout outs to Willie Green, man. Shout outs to Willie Green.
Obviously, to take on the scoring volume that you did tonight takes a lot, and also give good effort defensively. How are you feeling from a conditioning standpoint, especially at the end of games?
I felt good tonight. I just threw myself out there and just was in the flow of the game. I didn't feel myself getting tired, and I just kept shooting. I kept doing what the defense was giving me, and I felt good. I wasn't tired tonight.
What are you learning about Yak as a teammate that maybe you didn't know playing against him in the West over the years?
Pretty much nothing different. Me and Yak came in the league together.
That is true. 2016 draft.
We got drafted together, and I've been able to watch him over the course of his career. And I liked how he set screens. I knew he had soft touch around the rim. I knew he rim ran. I knew he offensive rebound, defensive rebound. And I knew he had a high IQ. So I knew that he was a reason that I, was excited to come play here, because I knew he was going to make the game a little bit easier for me, and I knew he was going to do dirty work.
And every single center who played with him in New Orleans also kind of catching strays, and I don't blame him at all. Those centers sucked.
Brandon, do you remember the last time you took 30 shots in a game?
Nah, I was actually just looking at this and said, damn, I took 30 shots tonight. But I didn't feel it. It was 50%. And, whatever the team needs on a nightly basis, I'm willing to do it.
You remember the last time you scored that many points in a game?
Honestly, I don't even...
I'll give you a clue about your opponent.
It was the Toronto...
It was the Toronto Raptors.
The Raptors.
41. Do you remember the last time you were on a team that won 12 out of 13 games?
Shit, Kinston High School?
That's funny.
How are you guys kind of enjoying the streak, or maybe not enjoying it, just kind of enjoying the process, as they say?
I think it's more enjoying the process. I don't think one person in the locker room has talked about the streak. And I don't think Darko will let that creep into our locker room. We take it by the day. We know every day is an opportunity to get better, and we just worry about the next opponents.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you right now, these guys are talking like real championship contender types. You know what I mean? Like Darko wouldn't let that creep into our locker room. That is some serious like OKC, San Antonio Spurs, Coach Spo, Phil Jackson type of shit. I'm telling you, man, like this team, the minute you heard them in training camp, you were like, oh, they're looking at playoffs as a guaranteed. Now you get a feeling of, oh, this is what they're actually trying to do. We're gonna have a really fun time on the panel tomorrow because Lord knows I'm gonna be insufferable.
So, of course, it's a good feeling, but we know we got work to continue to do so we can reach our goal.
Darko was just mentioning that the chemistry is ahead of schedule for this group. What do you think it is that has allowed you guys to really figure things out this quickly?
Everybody's bought in. I think everybody is on the team is selfless, and we just want to win. And whatever it takes, I think everybody is bought into doing that. Nobody has an ego on the floor, off the floor, and we're able to communicate in real time and talk about the game.
Thanks, Brandon.
That was dope, man. I'm not gonna lie, like that was really dope. It was great to listen to him. As I've said many times, I may be frustrated sometimes by his shot selection, but I have never for a second felt like he was selfish in the least. So shout outs to Brandon Ingram, shout outs to all of you. The Toronto Raptors have won. Wow. It may not have crept into the Raptors locker room, but it has certainly crept into my mind that the Raptors are an awfully good basketball team right now. And I hope it continues. I really do. I am looking forward to covering this team in the playoffs. It's going to be really fun. The season is going to be really fun. And winning is just so much more fun than losing. I can't even stress that enough. Feels great. Thank you to this community, best community on YouTube. And Pepperjack with another super chat said, Rogers, Keith Pelly saw this coming. That's why they wanted to get rid of. That's why they got rid of Masai when they did. Imagine trying to get rid of Masai after the start of the season and him going to contract here. Credit to Masai. I absolutely agree with this. Credit to Masai indeed. Because right now, I think the other day on X, I actually just I usually have like pretty long tweets, like multi-paragraph type of tweets. I had a few words that I wanted to share after the last win. I said, thank you, Masai. Because this is his team. He put this together. The culture was on him. Trading Pascal, letting Fred go, not overextending themselves, finding BI, pushing for BI to come here, pushing for Scotty to be, maintained as the culture central focus point of this rebuild. Repeatedly saying over and over, if this is the type of guy that you dream of, this is the type of guy who can lead to championships. This is a guy, he's a winner. Scotty Barnes is a winner. Well, now Scotty Barnes is winning. And Brandon Ingram is working, and RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickly, the guys that you brought in on that trade, and all these guys that you wanted to develop, and all these guys that you spent so much time combing over in the summer and going through their film, and Jamal Shed being a dog and all this stuff, it's working out, man. And it really sucks, honestly. I'm gonna say this, like, just from the heart, it really sucks because Masai's like one of my favorite guys, period, across the league, has been for years. And to see this team succeed, I know that the next championship we win, he won't be there, and that sucks. But at the same time, I hope that people will always remember what he did because this is his team. This is his team. When the Raptors won with Kyle Lowry, I always paid credit to Brian Colangelo for making a trade for Kyle Lowry. I always paid credit to that for drafting DeMar DeRozan. Like, Colangelo did a few things right, and he deserves credit for the things that he did right because some of the things that he did right directly led to us winning a championship. Well, I say the same thing about Masai. It's going to take you probably 13 to 15 years before you can stop saying thanks, Masai, for something or another that he did. He left this franchise in a pretty decent position. Pretty decent. Not perfect. Lot of things worth, criticizing for sure. But, man, like the ethos and the effort and the spirit with which that guy led, I think even choosing Darko was definitely a Masai guy. You know, like right from the get-go, you can tell this is the type of guy that Masai really gravitated towards. And I don't have any intel on that. I can't tell you like for sure, but there's no way that Darko is getting the job without a sign off from Masai Ujiri, given where Masai was. So yeah, shout outs to Rogers for being super smart, getting ahead of this, because if the Raptors come out to this kind of start, firing Masai would have been impossible. Masai would have been able to hold their balls to like a $25 million extension. They weren't going to pay it. So they got out ahead of this early. They knew this was going to be a winning season. And hey, man, nobody really comes out looking good at the end of this. But yeah. Bro, stop giving Rogers credit. Oh, I'm not giving them credit. I'm calling them a insanely cheap company. Insanely cheap. But yeah. Anyways, talk to y'all later. Enjoy. And pray that this doesn't get copyright flagged. And shout outs to Pepperjack, and the homie Nicked, and Samuel Barefoot. Don't think I've forgotten about this. I will get to it on my next live. I have written down fourth quarter, 9:20 mark, Jamal Shed drive. And if I forget, hopefully you remind me. But yeah. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace. Oh, and please like the video. Enjoy your birthday. My birthday is actually on the Pacers game. So that is November 26th. So that is going to be really fun. I will be able to celebrate. Like I might do like a pretty quick post game live that night. I hope y'all will forgive me. It'll be like maybe an hour instead of 2 hours, and then go out afterwards. We'll see. We'll see. Sometimes, I mean, I'm not like 21 and I'm not 50. I feel like all birthdays between 21 and 50 are kind of like mid. So are you going to the game? I thought I would be going to the game. Why are y'all wishing me a happy birthday, man? My birthday is not for like another 2 days. Get drunk. Yeah, coming from you, man. Advice. No, alcohol is not required for everything, man. Oh, yes, I'm going to be 38. Sorry, my bad. I'm going to be 38. I have relegated myself to this reality. I'm 38. I'm going to be 38 in 2 days. Yeah. Okay. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.